G'day, Clint. Looking forward to today's matchup, actually. As you say, two teams that haven't won for a long, long time this year, but hopefully a cracking contest, a big day for both sides. Pressure, of course, on the Eagles. As you mentioned, Adam Simpson would dearly like a win just to take a little bit of pressure off. And as you say as well, suggestions during the week that a loss and a bad loss today might just be the straw that could break the camel's back. For North as well, as you say, Brett Ratton looking to get the win, and maybe for a first game of today, debutant Robbie Hanson Jr. from the West out of Kalgoorlie. Mid-season draft pick, went pick 2 in the draft, didn't slip to Fremantle, who are very interested in keeping him here, but the Subiaco product plays his first game today and he'll be looking for a win in front of a lot of friends and family. And Jack Ziebell as well, the Saab announced his retirement during the week. He'll play to the end of the season, but plays his 300th total game today, including pre-season matches and the like, which gets him an AFL Life membership as well. So something for Jack Ziebell to hold his hat on before he retires and hangs up the boots. What a terrific competitor he has been, the former captain of the club. So looking forward to the clash.
Captain between 2017 and 2022, Jack Ziebell, certainly one of the real warriors for the North Melbourne Football Club in recent times. But as you mentioned, he announces his retirement. We're keen to see what one of the locals, the West Australians from Subiaco, but from Mines Rovers originally, what Robert Hanson Jr. can
My
do.
old club.
I knew you would say that.
My old club.
Produced a few players along the way, haven't they?
Yeah, Dom Sheed's out there. Eddie Betts.
Yeah, exactly.
Jamie Graham. We'll take him.
Elliot Yeo is the sub for the West Coast Eagles, and we're wondering how much game time he will get. We'll hear very shortly from downstairs Jared Schofield to join us from the West Coast Eagles. Our experts, dual premiership player Beau McDonald, Brownlow medalist Shane Woden. Who wins this one today, gents? It's the mockbuster as 17th takes on 18th. Hopefully a good contest. North go in some reasonable form, despite the fact they haven't won since round 2. And West Coast, well, their away form has been pretty ordinary, but they would take a little bit of heart, I think, from an effort they put in against St Kilda here a couple of weeks ago. How do you see it panning out?
Yeah, enthralling contest, and good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, gentlemen. It's looking forward to it. 17 v 18. Not much really separating both the groups right now. I know there's a little bit on the ladder, and where does it all go now if West Coast get this one? I love what Kangaroos are trying to build, particularly with their young list, and 2 young teams going at it today, and the midfield and the young talent that Kangaroos do provide. Look, I think Kangaroos should win this game of footy. I think they've played some decent enough footy also, but again, West Coast home ground advantage will play certainly a big part. But I suppose what probably more the Kangaroos have across the field will probably play a bit big of a part today, I think, Bozo. Particularly in the midfield, I'm looking forward to seeing LDU, Sheasel, Phillips, their young legs, and be able to grind it. But can they sustain the effort over long periods, particularly away from home?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I agree with you, Wowie. I think I'm really excited for this match. Generally, you can sit there and go, yeah, it's a graveyard shift on a Sunday, but we've got 2 teams that haven't won a game of footy in a while, and I reckon they'll both bring the heat. Yeah, I think if I was North Melbourne, I'd be absolutely smart that we could actually get this one, and vice versa for the West Coast Eagles. They've played some okay football at home, just some periods have really cost them. But look, I'm interested to see how the Eagles young ones go today in this challenge. Let's see him step up. I'm really keen to see Rhett Bazzo get amongst it down back and play a bit of time there and see if he can start to cement his spot down there in that back line. I love watching Elijah Hewitt from Swan Districts. He's a bull. The more he builds his motor and his ability to run, I reckon he's going to become a really good player. But he just does some things in and around
class.
The stoppage that you can see as he gets a bit more muscle on him, a bit more between the ears. He's going to be a good player. So it's going to be an interesting game, and it all starts in the middle. Another big matchup for Williams too, I suppose. He's been really good for West Coast. Improved. They're just out of sight, and Todd Goldstein's no mean feat. He's a past all Australian ruckman, played him mozza of games, and is very clever. So that's going to be a interesting duel as well.
Yeah, that'll play a big part in today because of both the Kangaroos ruckman against a young rucks here at West Coast right now. So the sustained effort over long periods of time, you can't buy the experience in the games played just to be able to grow 120 minutes of footy too. So, But for me, for West Coast today, I'm all about their contest method and what they're doing around here. Not a great strength of West Coast, and particularly now with an inexperienced group, but around clearance, contested footy, ground ball, not a great strength. So let's see if they can really improve and match Kangaroos in this area today.
The other member of our team today is Jen Wallace. She's on the boundary for us and she's downstairs. Jen!
Thanks. Down here, boundary side with Jared Schofield, part of the West Coast coaching side. Jared, thank you for your time, but looking forward to this game. It's been a tough season in many ways. This game presents as very winnable. What's been the discussion in the focus areas towards this game?
Oh, it's like every week. We plan to win every week. We go about our process about reviewing from the previous week's game and how we can continue to get better. And yes, it hasn't been a great year from us, but we've seen some small wins along the way. I know it doesn't show on the win-loss record, but today just presents us with another opportunity to show our supporters what we're about. And for the people that turn out, we're obviously presenting that we're going to have a win.
For the listeners, we're down at ground level. It's a little bit greasy. There's some rain overhead, but it's a bit patchy. What sort of discussions do you have with the players in regards to playing these conditions? Yeah,
well, you don't want to sort of go too deep into it, but we obviously want to point out you've got to play the conditions and use your smarts and be able to adapt within game. Yeah, the ground's pretty good at the moment. It's a little bit slippery underfoot, so the ball's going to skid a bit, but if it does rain, I think this ground holds up relatively well. So regardless of whether it rains or not, it's going to be one of those sort of hard contested games, which is what we're looking for.
Before I send you up to the rest of the commentary team, if you've got any late changes, you can inform us of.
None as such. Yowie will end up being our sub as he was named as a emergency, but he'll be our sub. And other than that, there's no changes.
All right, I'll head you back up to the commentary team. Shane Woden, Mitch Turner and Clint Wheeldon. Over to you guys.
G'day, Scully. Wowie, mate. How are you?
Hey, mate.
Yeah, good, mate. Mate, how do you keep a young group motivated? I know it's been a long year, it's been a grind, and it hasn't gone to plan in terms of a win-loss record, but from a coaching group point of view, how do you keep a young group motivated?
Yeah, it hasn't been too challenging, to be honest. It's when you're an 18, 19-year-old and you're living out your dream of playing AFL footy, that sort of gets them up every week. Obviously, there's some guys that haven't tasted that success of a win yet, so we want to see some reward for all their effort and their hard work that they're putting in. But it's just the young blokes that obviously with their energy, but it's also credit to our senior guys that have been able to drive that throughout the year as well. And the character of the group, they've showed some resilience through adversity, and the mood of the playing group throughout the season has been quite positive.
What are your small wins today, particularly for this group, and what's the big team focus for the group with your method?
Oh, well, we want to play in the right manner. We want to be able to honour the contest in the right way, and when we do that, we know our best footy's good enough, and we've shown that against the big sides, the top four sides throughout the year, but we haven't been able to sustain it. And there's been some weeks over the last 6 where we've really let ourselves down in that space, and we've been touched up early. So not that we want to focus on the start too much in terms of how we start. It's in terms of like the scoreboard. We can't chase the scoreboard, but what we can chase is how we go about our process and how we present ourselves on that first ball or that first opportunity that the players get to present themselves at the contest.
I know you've come up against some big opponents this year, Jared, but Nick Larkey is someone who really enjoys playing against the Eagles. He's kicked 6 goals in both of his last outings against you. You're pretty undermanned down back, no McGovern, no Barris. You sent off to Curnow last week. Does he get a chance on Larkey, or do you go with a different matchup?
Oh, look, I don't know the exact matchup, to be honest, because they'll leave that to Pratty chops and changes all the time. We've got a lot of scenarios, but look, I don't know whether Hoff will. That was obviously something that we had confidence in him doing. He's played on some really key players. There was a big ask for him last week. We knew that. But yeah, we got some challenges with not having the height down there. So I think it comes back to what we do up the field, and last week we just weren't up to it, in and around the contest early. But when we got going, we showed that we could match Carlton. So we've got to make sure that we make the exits dirty from stoppage or contest and the supply isn't clean. And if we do that, get back and support, well then it doesn't matter whether the height's there or not. And Larky's a great player, but we've just got to make sure our supply isn't as clean as what it was and has been in our losses.
At your end of the field, though, Jared, you've got Oscar Allen, who's equally as talented as Nick Larkey. It must be frustrating, though, having to send him down back at times this year when he's such a pivotal target up forward. How do you manage someone like Oscar, who's playing so well in that role and finally found a role at home, to have to move him around?
Yeah, well, it's easy to manage someone like Oscar. He's just a total team man, like all our players, but he's a total team man. He was prepped throughout the week that if something had to happen and we needed someone to go back through to the height reasons, well, he was the man and he was up for it. In an ideal world, we want to make sure that we keep him forward, and that comes back to the supply that we can give him as well. So it starts in the middle. starts around the contest and also our ball movement and how we can get some penetration inside our 50 and make sure we can look for him and JD and give themselves the opportunity to kick some goals for us.
I know the message from Adam Simpson and the club all year has been that you're trying to kind of block out the outside noise and not worry about the scrutiny the club's coming under. But for a team with so many young players, how hard is it to train them to stay off social media, to not read what's around, because there's always a lot of scrutiny on the club this year?
Yeah, well, young fellas these days, I reckon that'd be a pretty hard task to keep them off social media. But yeah, look, you've got to trust, that they're not reading into that too much. And what we do within the four walls is really important. How we protect them, keep them in a safe house, and how we show their small wins and show that we've got each other's back, which has been a really sort of challenging year through adversity. So for us, we're going to make sure we just play in the right manner once again and show our fans that are turning out on this day today that we're up for it.
Jared Schofield with us from the West Coast Eagles. Jared, in an ideal world, Elliot Yeo is sub today. How much game time would you like him to get?
Oh, look, in an ideal world, we don't have to use him, but I think every week I think we've had to use our sub, and sometimes we've lost 2 or 3 in a game, which I don't know how many sides would have done that probably multiple times this year, but we've been dealt that, and so I'm hoping that, and I think, from a coaching staff point of view, that we don't have to go there, but if we do, look, he might get about sort of half a game, 3 quarters, and we'll decide where we put him.
Appreciate your time. Best of luck.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Jared Schofield downstairs as both teams have made their way out onto Perth Stadium. The Kangaroos wearing the away uniform, the predominantly white with the blue stripes and the white shorts. The Eagles in their home colours, the royal blue and the royal blue pants with the gold wings. There is a game underway. It's a close one, as it has been for most of the day. The Tigers leading the Demons by 8 points, 32 gone in the second quarter. 9-7-61 Richmond, 8-5-53 on the run of upsets we've had this week. Tigers perhaps a big chance to roll the Demons. We'll keep you across that at the moment by 8 points Richmond as we close half time. Changes, big ones again for West Coast. Shuey out, Petreski. Seaton was suspended, will miss the next couple of games. A couple of key ins as well, particularly Elliot Yeo. Back from the hip injury, he will start, as we just heard downstairs, on the bench. It's been a big week for North Melbourne. The emotion of Jack Ziebell announcing his retirement at the end of the season will be game 277 for him, for the 32-year-old today, while for the interim coach who stepped in with Alistair Clarkson having to take a leave of absence, Brett Ratten, one of the most popular people in footy, has done such a great job for a long time. It was just so unfortunate with the way that he departed both Carlton and then St Kilda. His 10th game in charge today. Can his Kangaroos say farewell to him as the interim coach with a victory? Here he is speaking a little bit earlier this week to the media. Brett Ratten.
Just counting down the days, and post the presser on Sunday will be the finale. So but that's I knew what was coming, and I've had some real enjoyment. It's been a shame we've been close, but without the victory, and we get an opportunity this week to see if we can do something that we want to do, and that is to get a win. But if we play like we did last week, we're going to give ourselves a chance. If we play like the Hawthorn week, we're not going to give ourselves any chance. So that's a challenge for us. We played 3-0 earlier this year and won, so that's a positive. But that was round 2, and now we're at round 20. So there's a big gap there. So, but both teams have got great opportunities, and it's going to who puts their best foot forward. And we know last week if we play that brand of footy and with that appetite, we'll be right in it, and that's what we want to do.
Has Clarko started chipping in ideas, or is it more this week, more again just shadowing and that sort of thing?
No, he's been chipping in ideas for a few weeks, probably since the bye. But he's been in the program for the whole week with everything. So he's more out and about, looking, adding his views on things. So ready to sort of have it's sort of a semi-coaching week, and next week will be full ball. Probably a little bit of organisation behind the ball, and probably they just won some contested ball and some clearance numbers that just gave them some traction and field position. So there's a few things there. They kicked 3 goals from outside 50 in the last quarter, which hurt. You know, we just gave them the opportunity. They were good enough to kick him, so that didn't help us as well. But we put ourselves in a position where, you know, we could have won, and probably, you know, for most part of it we should have won, but we didn't, and they were too good in the end.
So Brett Ratton there wrapping up, speaking during the week about the loss by the Kangaroos to St Kilda, and they certainly had their chances to get a third victory of the season against the Saints last weekend. These sides met earlier this season, as Mitch Turner told you. Sheasel outstanding, one of the youngsters. He actually picked up his Rising Star nomination from that performance in round one, where the Kangaroos got a 5-point victory over West Coast, had 34 disposals that day. Davies Uniacke with 32 touches and a goal. And again, as Mitch mentioned before, the real key, Nick Larkey kicking 6. He likes playing the West Coast Eagles. How do you stop him today? Shane Woden and Bo McDonald. Surely, as we've hinted, you couldn't just throw Oscar Allen back there again, could you?
Absolutely not.
Well, they could.
They could. They shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't.
Best forward playing back. Oh, my goodness. About supply, really, today. It's a big onus on the midfield. Like, I'm looking at today at Kelly, Gaff, Sheed, Duggan. Duggan will probably play more half-back, but if there's some midfield time required, he might go in there. But certainly they'd better win contest, get some field position from clearance, from stoppage, from contest, and just give your forwards a chance with supply. But if it's going the other way, you know, Lucky could kick another bag against this mob too. So that's important. So that's the contest, that's the clearance. Get that bit right, then they'll be able to get it in, lock it in your front half and play front half footy, and then give your backs a breather behind the ball and give your forwards a chance. Give them some supply and see if they can put a score on the board.
Yep, well, it hasn't changed in 100 years. You've got to get a hold of the ball to be able to play the way you want. So that's where it's going to start. And look, I think if the Eagles can do that and use their run, they can give North Melbourne a show. But I think the Roos will be smart and coming over together, trip to Perth. I reckon there'll be a show today.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. Weather stays away. Nice clean day. Be able to use and utilise some skill level. Good opportunity for some kids too. So, but again, it's one of those emerging players too at West Coast where I'm not sure where their contract status is at too and what their list management's like there. But you know, O'Neill, who's in and out, Petrocelli, those emerging leaders, second tier players who not quite there, played 4 or 5 years, been around the mark a little bit, just lacking consistency, just to continue to drive this club going forward and not have a huge reliance on the very, very young ones who've just come in the club in the last year or two. Witherden down back, Cole's come back into this group lately, so there's some experience there. It's up to them now to showcase it and get it going for them.
Everybody else has had their opinion on what this means for West Coast. The media's spoken about the extra pressure perhaps on the coach. I will say I don't think it makes a difference to what West Coast are going to do. But internally in a football club, when you come up against a side who is also down the foot of the ladder, do you think as a group, here's an opportunity for us today? Does that enter the minds of the players at all?
Because they're playing the 17th.
Because they're playing the 17th team. Do you run out there thinking, because there would be games this year where West Coast, no matter what they say, no matter what front they put on, must have known with who's missing and who they're playing, they're up against it.
We know the last time they played the 17th team, they lost by 116 points to Hawthorn down in Tassie.
Yes, that is true.
So it doesn't always mean you're
That's very true.
I think you can overthink it if you think like that. This is an opportunity because we're playing the 17th team, and then get your pants pulled down exactly like that too. So, they've just got to stick to process. I know that is very cliche for everyone listening out there, but internally in a footy club, and when you got your players hat on, that's how you got to think. If you think too much about outcome, you get your right whack in this game. So it's really important they just go from contest to contest, minute by minute, and work North Melbourne over.
Yeah, I think you're right, Who can stay on task for the longest?
Yeah.
And especially with young ones out there, they're learning the game. I think it's going to be a terrific contest, and it's one of those games where you feel like someone can put their name up. One of these young guys from North Melbourne or West Coast can put their name up today.
The toss just occurring out in the middle. Emma Swanson, the AFLW captain for the Eagles, tossing the coin. And Jai Simpkin, the captain of North Melbourne, winning the toss and kicking to the right of our position towards the city end of the ground. So North getting their first win of that. That's a few tosses in a row I think the Eagles have lost at home. So
who took the toss for West Coast?
Oscar Allen took the coin toss. He led the team out through the inflatable eagle as well, so captaining the side today in the absence of Luke Shuey, Jeremy McGovern and Tom Barris. So the top three leaders in the club all out, which isn't always ideal.
Sharing alongside Liam Duggan the captaincy role. Let's find out what it's like. Boundary side, Jen Wallace is with us again. It's a bit overcast, Jen. There was a bit of rain around earlier today. What's it like down there now?
Yeah, currently the grey skies are overhead. The patchy rain has disappeared, which is great news. A little bit greasy underfoot for the players. 18 degrees, a bit of a swirly breeze down at ground level, and some good optimism from the crowd right behind me. Benches, Edwards, Witherden, O'Neill and Marek for West Coast, Taylor, Simpkin, Gota and Robert Hanson Jr. on debut for North Melbourne. The subs confirmed as Elliot Yeo and Jack Siebel.
Good on you, Jen. Stay dry down there. Sunshine creeping through. It's 18th in the Eagles, looking for a second win of the year. 17th in North, looking for their third. Who can prevail in this? Let's find out on Grandstand AFL and ABC Radio. Mitch Turner to get us started.
They'll be young and old in the ruck. Todd Goldstein opposed to Bailey Williams as the ball goes up. Goldstein trying to follow it up. Williams, though, got a handball to Hewitt. His handball. Miss Kelly. Worried out of it. North win possession back. Davies Uniacke. No, Scott. It is for North Melbourne early on, getting his hands on the ball. A ball up again. Still inside the centre square. Williams this time gets a hand to it. Coming through is Scott again. Kicks it towards half forward for North Melbourne. Hearn charged out to meet it. Knocked it down towards Duggan. Gave it to Hunt. Has a man all on his own on the wing, and Kelly marks and is able to play on and take some ground. Takes a bounce. Has a North player closing. Kicks inside the forward 50. Darling takes the mark. It's paid. Takes the mark on the lead. 45 from home. Will have to kick from outside 50, but the Eagles with an early chance for the first goal of the day.
Yeah, Tim Kelly just anticipated over really quickly through the middle of the ground and popped out to space. And great vision by Hunt there to be able to hit him up, but yeah, great hit up inside 50. Held there for long enough.
Just
very close,
said the umpire. So Jack Darling with the first chance at a score today. Kicked his 500th goal here a few weeks ago. Got very close to the man on the mark. Kick is on the way. It's short. Punched through by Goldstein. Minor score, but the Eagles, for the time being, take the lead 90 seconds into this clash. One straight behind. Play North yet to score here. AFL round 20 action from Perth Stadium.
Half-time at the G. Tigers by 8 points over the Demons. The Kangaroos through Call go beyond defensive 50. Flying Sherry couldn't quite get to it. Touched it on the way over the boundary line. Standing in front of him was Hunts. Also involved forward for the Kangaroos. There'll be a throw-in. Left half forward for West Coast. It'll be spun back in beneath our broadcast position. Goldstein against Williams. Goldstein palmed it down for the Kangaroos and went out after it himself. Broke the tackle of Kelly. Then tries the big don't argue. He got wrapped up. Good tackle. Hewitt made sure he got him. They played on quickly by hand to Kelly. Ugly looking kick inside forward 50. Kangaroos have the numbers. Comes originally from Tucker and then to Sheasel. Kicks towards the centre wing position, commentary side of the ground. Emerging through a pack as Kelly got a hand pass back to Hunt for West Coast. Kicks around the body once more. Spilled through the hands of Young. Should have taken it. Hand pass from Long. Got it on to Cripps. Hard up against the boundary gap. Now to Darling. All those by hand. Hand again to Hewitt. Oh, to Sheed, who's run down. Tackled by Davies Uniacke. No prior. It'll be a ball up inside forward 50. Nearly 3 minutes gone in the opening term. The Eagles lead by behind. The Kangaroos yet to score.
So ball up inside 50. Cherry did well, got it down. Cripps coming through for the Eagles. Wrapped up in a tackle. Another ball up. Just inside the Eagles. Attacking 50. Left half forward. Sherry tapped it straight down to Davies Uniacke. Got a clearing kick, but Duggan takes the intercept mark for the Eagles. Goes short to Gaff. Just forward of centre wing on the broadcast position. Gaff called to play on now. Kicks inside forward 50. Looking for a target. Darling flew. Couldn't mark. Petrocelli roved it. Threw it on the left boot. Hit the post. Almost something special from Jack Petruccelli. The Eagles attacking early, one behind again though, so 2 straight behinds. They lead North, still yet to score, almost 4 minutes played opening term.
Great effort, good craft from Petruccelli. Crumb.
Sunshine continues to break through. Half the ground in Sunshine at the moment as Core again goes towards right half back. Williams flew up from the side. Ball hit the deck. Eagles will try to emerge with it. Tough stuff underneath all of that. Umpire will eventually say it's holding the ball decision, which I thought was a little bit tough against Duggan. Hard enough to get rid of it was the call. Come back to Sherry, who'll have it at right half back. Duggan went in to get it. Set upon immediately. Sherry kicks North Melbourne towards right half forward. Oh, that's a good fly. Nice mark up there from Ford. Running by Tucker. The former Docker receives the ball, kicks towards full forward. Curtis dived out after it, couldn't gather. Eagles can rebound through Edwards, then on to Hewitt. Now a chance from Bazzo to kick towards right half back. The ball bounce in the Sunshine and tumble over the boundary line for a throw-in at left half forward. The Eagles at 2 behinds. Kangaroos yet to score. 4.5 gone in the opening term. Still half-time at the G. The Tigers leading the Demons by 8.
So a few cheers as Robbie Hanson Jr. comes onto the ground for the first time. Goldstein taps it down out of the throw-in. Takes possession. Hewitt had him. Umpire said it was okay. Got it to Simpkin. Now Phillips kicks it inside forward 50. There it is. Bazzo couldn't mark. Spilt it coming through as North. Wrapped up by Bazzo. Ball up 40 metres out from the North goal.
Bazzo and Hearn, the 2 key pillars in defence today for West Coast, so they'll be rotating through the resting ruck and Larkey.
So Larkey to do the ruck work this time against Williams. Tapped it down. Davies Uniacke taken in a strong tackle. Having a brilliant season, Luke Davies Uniacke, averaging 27 disposals. So we get underway again. Williams just shoved Larkey out of the way, was able to tap it to Bazzo. Kick was smothered by Turner, put it on the boot, towards goal, puts it through, and North get the first goal of the day. So for all the attacking the Eagles have been doing, it's North that strike first with a key blow through the boot of Kane Turner. 1 straight 6, they lead the Eagles 2 behinds, a 4-point margin. 6 minutes into the opening term here at Perth Stadium.
It was a great work by North at the stoppage there. They didn't win the ball off the hand, but the pressure rush was great. He got the smother and it popped out for him, picked up his own ball and kicked a goal. Just a great work from inside the little circle there.
Yeah, just on their toes around the contest, Turner. Just a bit of press forward, put pressure on Bazzo's kick, smother it, follow up and knock it over.
First goal of the day goes the way of the Kangaroos. The city end of Perth Stadium, right of where we're broadcasting from on the northern wing. From the restart, Williams won it down. O'Neill hacks it forward. Umpires spotted a free kick. It's a free kick to West Coast. It's going to come all the way back to O'Neill, who has been held. So we'll take it just on the commentary side of the centre circles. Runs into the centre circles and then kicks West Coast inside forward 50. There's a big pack up. Oh, Goldstein too grabs it. Almost a good mark. Hit the deck, shoveling it out. The Eagles, they work it around towards Cripps. Gets a snap towards goal. Allen tries to keep it in, desperately looking to slap it back into play. Instead, the ball's gone across the boundary line at right full forward. So it'll be a throw in there for the West Coast Eagles at right full forward. The Kangaroos lead by 4 points. 7 gone in the first.
Jack Darling's do the ruck work for West Coast, opposed to Goldstein. Ball comes over the back, taken by Sheasel. Davies Uniacke clears it. Bailey Williams works his way to the front, opposed to Ford. Couldn't quite take possession. Hoff did in the end. His kick smothered out of bounds. Boundary throw in far side of the ground. 4-point margin, the way of North Melbourne. Both sides looking for their first win since round 2 earlier this year. Ball tossed back in. Goldstein to the front, tapped it. Trying to follow up his ruck work, knocked off the ball. Phillips was in there for North Melbourne. Got it to Taylor, tumbles a kick forward to the wing. Hunt led the race. Robbie Hanson Jr.'s got him his first impact. The tackle right on the logo there on the wing. Be a ball up. Neutral position on the ground.
Thrown aloft. Umpire spots a free kick. Take it high. Goldstein will have it on the logo. Southern side. Kangaroos look to thump it forward. Sending it inside forward 50. Spoiled. Didn't quite go the way they wanted. Here's Hanson Jr. Getting back there's Hunt. Gave it off towards Hearn. Hearn kicked towards right half back and then up to Marcus Darling. Big cheer from the Eagles fans. Two of their favourites involved as Darling moves down the southern wing and finds O'Neill. Quick hand pass to Edwards running by. He spots Allen, who then marks at right half forward. He's 2 kicks from goal. Standing right up against the boundary line. Will send it deep into the right forward pocket. Flying back, Archer was courageous. Marrick was behind him. Able to see it off his hands. The young North Melbourne player, the son of the great Glenn, and see it over for a boundary line throwing. 25 out from the Eagles goal. Heading to the Farmer Freeway end in this opening term. It's the North Melbourne Kangaroos leading by 4 points.
So Darling does the ruck work. This time taps it down. Petrocelli went without it. Goda clearing kick outside defensive 50 for North Melbourne. Or Turner was going back with courage. It ricochets off an Eagles player. And the umpire says it came off the leg. So it'll be out on the full and a free kick to the visiting side. And Kane Turner will take it. So Turner retreats back into defence. Finds Core. Core wants to switch it all the way back to Ben Mackay. So Mackay still deep in defence, now chooses to bring it back out. McDonald had to be strong to a good mark in front of Marrick. So Luke McDonald has the ball, shifts backward of the wing, goes further afield and finds Stevenson in the long sleeves.
Been able to delay switch here, West Coast. It's good defensively.
Stevenson called to play on, runs into trouble. Hunt did well on the mark, affected the kick, goes up towards the wing. Darling floating across. Behind the ball, takes an intercept mark. Jack Darling finding a bit of it early as he switches inboard to Witherden. Now takes off across centre half back, kicks to the far wing. Edwards has to wait but takes the mark for the Eagles. Now brings the ball inboard to Bazzo. Bazzo has a runner in Cole. The Eagles want to move it quickly. Kicks out wide. Finds Hoff. Short kick is good enough for O'Neill.
O'Neill at 80 from goal. Thought about sending it back into the middle of the ground with it and presents it. Instead, he'll put it into the right forward pocket for West Coast. 2-on-1 in favour of North Melbourne. Spills down off hands. Archer had it tackled immediately by Cripps. Ball's locked in. Ball up the court.
They're going to find it hard to score, West Coast, with their method going inside 50 with a rolling back defensive Kangaroos.
Darling takes clean possession. Great smother. Diving across from Core, but in the ruck contest, Goldstein was being infringed. He'll have the free kick.
That's particularly if they do go wide with their entries, which they have done so far early in this first quarter.
North by 4 points, nearly 12 gone in the first.
So the veteran ruck brings it outside defensive 50. Good kick. Found the chest of Taylor. Short kick inboard. Phillips just backward of the centre square. North unable to move it quickly. Have to retreat again this time. So Core, the deepest player in defence, takes the mark and plays on immediately. Now wants to pinpoint a target out wide. Has Archer. Good stretching mark just inside the field of play. So North doing it very tough to try and move this ball out of their back half. They have a 4-point lead. Kick goes up the wing. Flying at the back was Curtis, or forward. Couldn't take the mark. Hunt fed the handball back to Cole, and now Sheed for the Eagles. Collected as he kicked. Sends it up the wing, looking for Allen. Getting across was Goda, able to effect the spoil. The Eagles win it back though. Hewitt has a one-on-one inside forward 50. Darling v McDonald. Darling wanted a hole, didn't get it. Prince pounces and dribbles it through. The Eagles strike back. They get their first goal of the day through the boot of Jamie Cripps. They retake the lead. 1-2-8. Lead North Melbourne 1-6. One straight 6. 13 minutes played here on ABC Grandstand AFL.
A smart play by Oscar Allen there just to keep the ball alive. They knew they had the outnumber, and the dinky little violin handball over the shoulder just kept the ball alive and was able to get it into the forward 50, where Darling once again created a good contest and brought it to the front.
Ed, terrific work by Jack Darling. When the Kangaroos had the ball here at half back, he made a real conscious effort not to allow Sheasel to be a received by kick or by hand, and then when they kicked the ball long down the line, he kept following up. Then the work rate to get back inside 50 and equalised numbers was outstanding.
Not a great bounce. Umpire should have called it back. Instead, he lets play. Sherry won it down. Chance to burst through from Simpkin. Lovely hand pass to Stevenson for North. Hand pass behind Tucker. Had to stop. Gathered hand pass over the shoulder. Worked its way towards Turner. His little kick around the body looking for someone at full forward. Intercepted. Cole is marked for West Coast. He'll calm things down by moving it short into the left back pocket to Duggan. And then he finds Hunt beyond his defensive 50. Goes across, almost caressing along the boundary line to Hoff. I beg you the pardon, the back 50 for Hoff. Out towards right half back. Chance for Cole again. Kicked in the direction of Darling. Taylor going back, spoiled it down. Darling could gather though to Edwards. Hands it back to Witherden. Gives it again to Cole for the Eagles, and he'll move it short down the outer wing. Mark taken there by Gaff.
So Gaff wanted a runner, had no one coming past. Now just able to chip it short. Edwards with the ball for the Eagles. Still 2 kicks from home. Goes short. Finds Cole, who continued to run. 55 out. Kicks it towards the hotspot. Allen flies. Can't mark. Jack Williams at ground level. Fed the handball to O'Neill. Snap around the body is good. 2 in a row for West Coast. And this one comes off the boot of Xavier O'Neill. They extend the margin just slightly early in this first quarter. 2 goals, 2-14. North Melbourne, 1 straight, 6 15 minutes played. ABC Grandstand AFL.
Great work by West Coast. Good transference of play. Craft their way up the ground. When they get to that 50 to 70 area, put it to dangerous areas and just make sure they get a contest from their talls in Darling or Allen, and then get ground level support from their smalls.
I think what was great then is Oscar Allen went up against 4 North blokes, and the Eagles were able to stay down and to just get a hold of the ground ball and give themselves an opportunity, a shot on goal. But it's difficult to just even a contest against 4 guys. It was terrific work by Oscar Allen.
What's troubling the Kangaroos too is that their entries at the moment from West Coast are deep and really putting a lot of heat on their defenders.
A restart in the middle. Running down was Jack Williams, and he won it. Bounced back to him as well. Got a hand pass forward for the Eagles to Cripps. Goes back to Gaff. Measures the pass out to Edwards. Marking between centre wing and right half forward. Takes a couple of steps. Kicks high and long inside the right forward pocket. Darling got hands to it. Couldn't mark. Spilled out the back to McDonald. Darling affects the tackle. Takes him to ground. Ball up in the right forward pocket for West Coast. At the MCG, 4 minutes gone in the third term. Tigers now by 14 points over the Demons.
Sherry v Darling in the ruck. Darling tried to tap it down to Cripps. Gaff able to keep it in. Centering balls marked by Davies Uniacke though for North Melbourne, right at the top of the goal square. So crisis averted for now for North Melbourne. They trail by 8 points. Brings the ball outside defensive 50. Larkey, his first real chance to fly today, takes the mark. But he's a long way from home at right half back. Has a man further up the wing. Turner. North's only goal kicker so far today. 1 straight 6, trailing the Eagles. 2-2-14. Kicking board is good. Finds forward on the AFL logo.
And wait till Larkey to reset as a forward to have some height down.
So now he kicks towards half forward. Forward playing in front. Williams couldn't mark. Witherden crumbed. Gave it to Cole, and now Sheed at half back. Kicks it up the wing. Set Duggan a task. Was too high, too hot. And Ford takes the mark for North Melbourne. Will be able to potentially send them back inside forward 50.
Ford does so right now. Kicking high and long. Jack Williams got a hand to it. Spilled out to Sheed. Hand passed over the top. Scott can get there first. Under pressure. Did well to gather. Centres the football. Darling back. Last line of defence. Marked at the top of his defensive goal square for the West Coast Eagles. Their lead remains 8 points. 2-2 plays 1 straight. 18 gone in the first. Darling, short run up the corridor and then kicks long and high towards left half back. Oh, going early. Goda might have put the hands in the back. Doesn't matter. The Eagles get the bounce of the football and they come streaming down the commentary wing. Cripps by hand to Gaff. Back to Cripps. Gets it on the bounce. Forced to go back into the middle of the ground. Marking it in the centre square. Just inside the commentary edge is Sheed. Hand passes to Darling. Oh, sells some candy. Stepped inside Davies Uniacke. Darling then kicks into the left forward pocket. Allen out to mark. Oh, there was razzle-dazzle. There was great pace. There's a terrific mark for West Coast. and Oscar Allen can go back and try and kick the Eagles third from the left forward pocket.
How about Jack Darling's start to this game?
No, they've been terrific. Both came forward.
Impressive.
Yep.
Get back, support his defence is a key, because they haven't got much down the line at the moment. You got Williams off the ground as a resting ruck, and you've only got Oscar Allen forward of the ball when Jack Darling marks it in your back half.
So only one game he hasn't kicked a goal in this season, and that was when he was given the thankless task of trying to stop Charlie Curnow. Here he comes, Oscar Allen. Ball curls through for a major. He liked it. He celebrated with the crowd and now goes to his teammates. It was a build-up that deserved the goal, and the Eagles fans that have come to watch in these overcast conditions may appreciate what they're seeing in this first term. The Eagles 3-2-20, North of 1 straight 6. 19 gone in the opening quarter. Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio, News Radio, and now streaming on the ABC Listen app. Always look for the AFL button.
Well, 2 of the 3 contest indicators West Coast have been pretty solid in. Plus 7 in contested footy. Plus 8 in ground ball, which is fantastic. Just got to tidy up their clearance work at the moment. They're -8 in the game. Scoreboard's ticking the right way for West Coast. It's a good result.
So Bailey Williams and Sherry in the ruck. Sherry just punches it forward. Duggan coming off the back of the square for the Eagles. Handball was too hot for Williams. Couldn't gather. Davies Uniacke now gives it to Thomas for North. Now Stevenson runs to 52. Sets sights on the home sticks. Does it carry? No. It's kept in play by the Eagles. No score. Last line of defence, they keep it alive. Can't find a target coming outside defensive 50, but able to gather. Edwards kicks it up the wing. Allen's found some space. Oh, in front was Williams. Chopped off his own teammate, took the mark, gave it to Gaff. O'Neill running on, spilt the mark. The Eagles trying to get the ball inside forward 50, but North there to stop, gather, and lock it up for a forward 50 throw-in. Oh, Alex with it on the replay. Last line of defence.
A spin of the football, so it bounced on its point and then turned back into play. Quite remarkable. Williams has some solid tackling. Ball's come out the side. Kelly tried to work it to Gaff. His kick was straight into traffic. Jerry hand pass to no one in particular. Emerging with it, Edwards. From 50 out, stabs it forward. Young couldn't take the mark off his hands. Mackay's back there for the Kangaroos. Moves it to Core, now to Tucker. Has to get rid of it quickly. Kicks towards left half back, but turns it over. Duggan marks for the Eagles.
So Duggan chooses to go short again to Gaff. Disposal number 8 coming up. He's found some form since being pushed back to the sub roll. Now back on the field. Kicks long towards the hot spot. Going up with North Melbourne. Able to fist it clear. Marrick gathered for the Eagles. Handball to Long. Got into trouble. Now to Hunt. He's gang tackled by North Melbourne. Ball spills free. Davies Uniacke in there for the Roos. Can't break clear. Another ball up. Inside forward 50 for the Eagles. 35 metres out from goal. A 14-point lead to the home side.
Got good intent, haven't they, West Coast?
Ball goes up. Williams v Sherry. Coming through. It's North Melbourne through Phillips. Got a clearing tumbler outside. Defensive 50. Tucker able to take the ball and take a bounce down the wing. The former Docker kicks inside forward 50. Looking for Larky and finding him. Going back with the flight of the ball. Red Bazzo just out of position. Larky takes the mark and will go back for a shot at his first goal of the day.
That's the absolute definition of a kick to advantage. It's such a terrific kick there by Darcy Tucker just to pinpoint it for Larky exactly where he needed it so Bazzo couldn't get a fist to it.
48 goals this season so far for Nick Larky. Loves playing against the Eagles. This his first chance of the day and he hangs it out to the left, much to the cheers of the West Coast fans. A minus score. 1-1-7 North Melbourne at 3-2-20 the Eagles. 23 minutes played here at Perth Stadium.
If you'd like to send us a text, 0437 774 774. Let us know where you're listening. You're made of the start for both West Coast and North Melbourne as the Eagles go short from Hearn to Sheed, who's still inside his defensive 50. 0437 774 774. Rashid kicks towards the commentary wing. Mackay out towards it. Couldn't gather. Spilled down to O'Neill for the Eagles. To Allen. To Darling. His hand pass was touched by Sheasel on the way through. It spills to Scott. Back to Sheasel for North. Now to Simpkin. With some space to work with. He takes a bounce on centre wing. Runs to right half forward. Dangerous hand pass back inboard. Got it to Davies Uniacke. On in turn to Sheasel. Great smother with it. Knocked at the ground. Spilled to Long. Then to Sheed for the Eagles. To Gap, who measures his pass to O'Neill, who can't quite mark. And then crashes over the boundary line under the pressure from Turner. And into the Astro turf and the fence. That would have hurt. I think he's all right, though. He's up and about. He'll be okay. Slippery conditions right alongside the boundaries. The ball's put back into play at right half forward for North Melbourne. Williams front position. Bailey for the Eagles. Hand passing it back towards the boundary line. O'Neill can't keep it in. 3-2-20 West Coast. 1-1-7 North. 24 gone in the opening quarter. Grandstand AFL. Clint Wilden in commentary alongside Mitch Turner.
So ball just in front of the North Melbourne bench here as it's tossed back into play. Goldstein worked his way to the front, but Williams just snatched it from behind. Kick towards half forward, under it. Core couldn't mark. Allen gave him a shove from behind. Free kick North Melbourne, and they'll take the advantage through Young. Kicks up the wing. Kick not deep enough. Hearn able to chop it off, take the mark. And go back to Kelly. Shannon Hearn, the job on Nick Larkey for the time being. The veteran. Game number, what was it now for Hearn? 332 today. Ball goes up the wing from the Eagles. Jack Williams has a juggling attempt, paid the mark. So takes the mark just forward of centre wing. Rolls inboard, plays on. Kicks to the pocket. Allen is the target. Kick too deep over the back. Ben Mackay takes the intercept mark for North Melbourne deep in defence.
Gets told to play on. Cripps goes to him really quickly. Mackay under pressure gets the kick away. Beyond defensive 50. Larkey all crunched. He was coming towards the football. Going the other way was Jack Williams. They're both okay, but it was a big hit. Spilled down to Sheed. Kicked inside forward 50. Marrick couldn't take it. Sheasel tried to knock it out of the pack. Marrick has another go. Got a hand pass. Clever to O'Neill. Clever over the shoulder. Hand pass to Petruccelli. Now on towards Jaden Hunt, who kicks the Eagles forward.
Larky's hurt himself here, I reckon. Lee and Jack Williams struggling to get back to the 50.
It was a big collision a moment ago with Williams. 4-2-26 the Eagles. 1-1-7 North Melbourne. 26 gone in the opening term on Grandstand AFL.
Just done a ground ball goal then from West Coast. I don't think they can afford to bomb it in today inside 50. Generally only the one tall target in there, but just ground ball, get it in. Equalise numbers. Snap on goal. Good finish. A contest by Jack Williams here in front of us. He started all right too, the young fella. Big key. Resting second ruck.
Just before we get back underway, Jen Wallace downstairs.
Jack Williams went off as soon as that goal was scored. He signalled to the bench and made his way over there, a bit rough from that contact in that collision you were talking about.
Williams followed up the ruck work. We gave it straight to Phillips. North Melbourne have it just inside the centre square. A dangerous kick. Sheasel does well to hold on. So late in this opening term, North Melbourne trailing the Eagles. Core kicks it inside forward 50. Bailey Williams getting back. Read the flight of the ball. Took a good intercept mark. Just look at Nick Larkey, as you say, boys. Does look very proppy standing just off the mark here as Bailey Williams kicks to the wing. Marrick and Darling there for the Eagles. Darling takes a strong mark. Jack Darling with a bit of a vintage display in this opening quarter at Perth Stadium.
Playing with a real presence.
The best game we've seen him play for a long time. Kicks now inside forward 50. Allen flew. Oh, yeah. Long. Roved it perfectly. Gave it to Kelly. Caught in a tackle. Going in hard is the North Melbourne player in Sheasel. He was taken to ground, ball up. 45 metres out from the Eagles' attacking goal, left forward pocket.
Umpire throws it aloft, one down by Goldstein. Getting there, Kelly, bounced away from him, trying to scoop it up. Scott involved, then Darling again. Davies Uniacke gets it away. Kick was smothered by the Eagles. Eventually they can clear North Melbourne towards right half back, and Hunt in front of Taylor. Saw it over the boundary line to make sure it was a throw-in. 4-2-26 West Coast, 1-1-7 North Melbourne. 28 gone in the first. Big g'day to Fiona up in level 5, listening in. Came before the sunshine lighting up the empty seats here. There's a few of them, but still a good crowd in at Perth Stadium today. We'll run through your text messages at quarter time as from the throw in it comes towards O'Neill. Kick towards full forward, off the hands of Darling to Marrick. Kicks the Eagles up into the air. It'll land at full forward. Mackay's underneath. Takes the mark, then steps off his line and gets told to plot. He needs to get rid of it quickly and does so. Out towards Archer, marking in the left back pocket. Almost done for the opening term. Archer steps back to assess what's in front of him. Thumping kick beyond defensive 50, and that is just the 4th opening term win of the season for the West Coast Eagles. Plenty of the fans here at Perth Stadium, they stand to applaud their team. They've been through some tough times this year, as have the supporters that just keep showing up here in the West wearing blue and gold. And they have a handy lead at quarter time, up by 19 points. The goal kickers for West Coast, Hunt, Allen, Cripps and O'Neill, while for North Melbourne their one goal, and it was the first of the game, coming off the boot of Kane Turner. West Coast 4-2-26, North Melbourne 1-1-7. Wherever you're listening on ABC Radio, News Radio and streaming on the ABC Listen app, look for the AFL Extra button. This is Grandstand AFL.
ABC Listen.
A Russian chef marches on Moscow. The Thai military attempts to hold on to power and prop up an oddball king. And an American ex-president stores classified documents in a toilet and a ballroom. Those plans all backfired, didn't they? I'm Matt Bevan. Join me for a new season of the podcast, If You're Listening, helping you make sense of major news events shaping our world with new episodes weekly. Hear it right now on the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Williams just shoved Larkey out of the way, was able to tap it to Basso. Kick was smothered by Turner, put it on the boot, towards goal, puts it through, and North get the first goal of the day. The Eagles win it back though. Hewitt has a one-on-one inside forward 50. Darling v McDonald. Darling wanted a hole, didn't get it. Prince pounces and dribbles it through. The Eagles strike back. Cole, 55 out, kicks it towards the hotspot. Allen flies, can't mark. Jack Williams at ground level. Fed the handball to O'Neill. Snap around the body is good. 2 in a row for West Coast.
Hand passes to Darling. Oh, Selson Candy stepped inside Davies Uniacke. Darling then kicks into the left forward pocket. Allen out to mark. Oh, there was razzle-dazzle. There was great pace. There's a terrific mark for West Coast. Here he comes, Oscar Allen. Ball curls through for a major. Marrick has another go. Got a hand pass, Clever to O'Neill. Clever over the shoulder, hand pass to Petruccelli. Now on towards Jaden Hunt, who kicks the Eagles forward.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Fantastic. You could be with us wherever you're listening. Perth Stadium. And the West Coast Eagles up against North Melbourne, and the Eagles at the moment with a 19-point lead at quarter time as 18th plays 17th. The MCG, the game's still underway there, about to hit time on in the third, and Richmond lead Melbourne 12-8-80 to the Demons 11-5-71. Earlier today, a 29-point win to St Kilda over the Hawks, 19-8-122 to Hawthorns 14-9-93. Before we hear from our experts, a couple of texts coming through. Kelly, hello Kelly, listening in from the lovely island of Amagos in Greece. If I've mispronounced that, I apologise. I've never been to the Greek islands.
I'm not going to correct you on it.
You been there?
No.
I don't have the money for those sorts of places.
Time,
off to Bustleton for me at any opportunity. Not that there's anything wrong with Bustleton, by the way. Lovely spot. Not happy, but I'll stay with it. Stick around, Kelly. Maybe there's some chances to come. Lots of other texts rolling through. The umpiring is utterly disgusting at this game. It's not been that bad. Jim and Sandra are sitting with a view of the Indian Ocean at Cleaverville in the Pilbara listening to the call.
Oh, great spot.
That would be a good spot to listen
north
to.
North of Karratha, great spot.
Yeah, fantastic. Wherever you are, let us know you're listening and what you've made of it, particularly if you're a West Coast fan. Are you up and about after that start? Let's get the thoughts of our experts, Shane Woden and Bo McDonald on Grandstand AFL.
Well, we're just going over the stats. The ones that blare out to me, and the eyes tell the same watching the game, is the contested possession and the uncontested possession. When you're behind on both of them, it's not usually a good day, is it?
No, you're going to struggle. They've had supply, haven't they, West Coast?
Yep.
With their 26 plus,
nearly
plus 50 in disposals.
Yep, and the tolls have been fantastic, just creating the contest, sometimes outnumbered, but still bringing the ball to the ground, allowing, being that reference point, allowing the smalls to come in and go to work.
Yeah, they've worked extremely hard right now, West Coast, and winning the footy, getting it on the outside, and then working really hard on the spread to better pop and give the kicker some time and space and give options too also. Just mindful of West Coast, just to make sure their entries are the right ones to be able to go in when they got there. But you're right, contested possession, ground ball really good, ground clearance, got to tidy up around that end, particularly forward 50. They've had 8 forward 50 stoppages West Coast, and Kangaroos have won 7 of them and cleared the footy. So just when you get in there, lock it in, build some pressure. Don't have to kick a goal for the first one. It might be the third or fourth, but just give your backs and the players behind the ball a breather.
Yep.
Just as you talk about that, Shane and Bo, just one of the stats that maybe supports that, as you say, 15-6 the clearances the way of North Melbourne. The inside 50s, 17-7 the way of West Coast. The disposal count, 120-74 the way of the Eagles. But the tackle count, North Melbourne with just 11 tackles for the quarter, despite losing the disposal count by so much. The Eagles with their 4th first quarter win of the season. They've done it 3 times before. Unfortunately, they've lost all 3 games, so maybe they'll turn it around today as we head into the second quarter. 19-point lead to the Eagles. Here's Clint Wheeldon.
Umpire holds the red Sharon aloft. It's Bailey Williams against Goldstein in the centre circles. Sheed and Davies-Uniacke do a bit of pushing and shoving. Not a great bounce, but one down by Goldstein. Favoured him. Williams has to turn to go back to try to gather. Sheed picks it up off the deck. Spinning, attempting it to get out of trouble was Kelly. Got knocked out of his hands and got done for an incorrect disposal. Higgs Davies-Uniacke to take the free kick to thump North inside forward 50. The punch came at the side from Witherden. Spills the ground, trying to get there first as Hoff. To tap it to his own advantage. Got a little nudge in the back from Curtis. Ball's gone over the boundary line anyway. It'll be a throw-in. 40 out from North's goal. They're heading to the Farmer Freeway end of Perth Stadium in this quarter to the left of our broadcast position. The Eagles, as they were at quarter time, up by 19 points.
Ball toss back in shallow, toss in both ruckman. Couldn't get to the ball. Umpire called play on. Davies-Uniacke gets the ball, kicks towards the top of the goal square. Larkey from behind. Bazzo did very well, stood tall. Was able to win it, give it to Chesser, now Hearn. Ever reliable. Kicks it outside defensive 50, looking for Jack Williams. Archer does well. Worked him off it, gathered. Handball inboard to Goda. North Melbourne under pressure, Darling. Got Davies-Uniacke able to break free. Gave the handball to Archer, sold him under pressure. Umpire swooping, holding the ball.
Great heat by West Coast.
Kelly takes the free kick, moves it quickly. Chesser, long inside 50. Allen sets himself. Goldstein did well, tapped it. Jack Williams taking a tackle. Allen fed it to Cripps for goal number 2. A fast start for the Eagles again. Jamie Cripps' 2 goals. The Eagles have 5 in a row. And they are all over North Melbourne here at Perth Stadium. A 25-point margin, 5-2-32. They lead the visitors 1-1-7. Shane Woden, Bo McDonald here on ABC Grandstand AFL.
Well, Goldstein, great heat by West Coast in the middle of the ground. Goldstein gets back and supports his defence, but it's nearly a soft drop where he just punches it straight back to the front of the contest where Cripps is, 101 crumbing and is able to snap that on goal.
You need him to get that out of bounds for the team. Yeah, exactly. The big kill is required.
Jamie Cripps, just his 8th game of the season. So important for West Coast. Now with 2 goals. Adds some real link between the midfield and forwards. And has the ability to kick a major like that from the restart. One down by Goldstein, gathers it himself, then kicks inside forward 50. Hunt, good position, leaping up to mark, and then he rebounds with a bounce, and then a second. The ball skidding away. Elects to knee it forward a third time. Tries to gather on centre wing, eventually does, under pressure from Hobb. Great play. Ugly but effective. It comes towards right half forward to Duggan, now to Kelly. Hand pass on towards Gaff to Cripps again. Deep in the forward pocket, kicks towards goal. Floated over the goal square at the back. Petruccelli marks. He's got it at left full forward. It's the tightest of angles, but he'll need to step around and snap it through. What about the persistence from Hunt a moment ago? We'll talk about that in a second. Petruccelli gives himself some room and snaps the goal. 6 straight for West Coast. 6-2-38 the Eagles. North Melbourne are still 1-1-7. And we've travelled 3.5 minutes in the second term. That from Hunt before was
Very
terrific.
Good. Yeah, bar the bounce, it's well executed, isn't it?
It was, and just watching their handball skill there going for that chain was really good. They got 3 or 4 handballs in a row. Really accurate. Would have taken just one to miss, and North Melbourne are going back the other way. And then Petruccelli couldn't believe how it landed in his lap. It probably went over 3 people and sort of fell in his lap.
Great work by Hoff too. Just to be able to step, not just whack it on the boot and dump it. Just to be able to step inside and release the handball. Just changes the angles.
I'm not laughing at you, Shane. I just saw a replay of the bounce. It's a shocker, but inventive. He thought, I can't gather this. I'll just shin it forward.
Back underway in the middle. Bailey Williams. Clean. Got it to Sheed. His kick forward to the wing. Petruccelli couldn't mark on the dive. Coming in is Scott from North Melbourne. Wrapped up by Kelly. Eagles fans cheering the effort from their side today. Chasing win number 2. Both sides looking to snap a 16-game losing streak. Kelly, hands and knees, fed it out. North Melbourne win it back. Scott, kick up the wing. Looking for Larkey in front of Hearn. Couldn't mark, had to punch it. Chesser fumbled. Ford won it back for the Roos. Gave it to Scott. Back to Ford, under pressure. Cripps got him in a tackle, wraps him up. No prior. Umpire will ball it up. Right on centre wing.
Ball thrown aloft. Williams probably had the more telling tap at the back. It was down to Kelly. Kicked around the body towards the attacking edge of the centre square. McDonald intercepted. Hand pass to Sheasel. I'll work it around again to McDonald. Forced to go back by hand to Mackay. Pauses for a moment. Hand passes over the top to McDonald, who'd run towards the logo. Commentary wing. He'll kick towards left half forward. Good battle on here, and then stretching and marking just enough of a grab to be for Davies Uniacke, who's got it about 55 from goal. 2 goes at it, completed the mark. He'll put towards the top of the goal square. Big fly from Curtis, couldn't mark, but he's able to gather on the bounce and pokes it through for a major.
Hit the post.
Oh no, it's just missed. How on earth? It was all there for him to gather it, and instead a minor score. 1-2-8 the Kangaroos, 6-2-38 the Eagles, 6 gone in the second.
He couldn't miss from there. And he did.
How on earth has he missed?
No blame calling the goal. He was 6 metres out directly in front. All on his own as he put it into the post. The Eagles, though, now have it 4-3. Hewitt kicks towards Allen. Couldn't mark. McDonald did well getting across. Sheed. Clever handball out to Chesser. Kick into the forward pocket. Williams can't mark. Trying to work off Core. Oh, crowd wants to deliver it as it goes out of bounds. They won't get it. Not happy. Benefit of the doubt going the way of the defender.
That's miss of the season. We're just seeing a replay now. He's on his own in the goal square and has just smashed it into the left-hand goalpost.
Sigh of relief after he coughed it up to straight back to Curtis's. Ball tossed in. 30 metres out for the Eagles' goal. Tap to the front. In there again is Cripps. Already has 2 goals to his name today. Unable to break free this time. Wrapped up for a ball up. So Goldstein opposed to Jack Williams. Just pushes him out of the way. Goldstein gave it to Scott. Kicking towards the middle of the ground. Bazzo did well. Fisted it away. The Eagles diving in is Williams this time. Bailey wrapped up on the wing for a ball up. 7.5 minutes gone. A 30-point margin the way of the Eagles here on Grandstand AFL.
Bailey Williams won it down, but it was straight to Simpkin. Hand pass over the top, releases Davies-Uniacke for the Kangaroos. From the wing, he'll kick towards right half forward. Ford marks, plays on quickly, sends it long towards the goal square. Larkey, front position, won it to ground. Coming through, Curtis. He's kicked the goal this time. Was admittedly about 2 metres closer, but he sticks the boot at. And now they're going to send it upstairs. What's the soft call here? Soft call is a goal. Questioning about whether or not it got touched on the way through. Hearn gave it everything.
He done well there, Shannon Hearn. He was cooked, and he just used his body brilliantly to spoil the contest.
He's missed it by a mile.
Yeah. It's off the shin of Curtis, but no problems. That's going to be a goal for the Kangaroos. Hearn hasn't got there. There's no touch on that. The Kangaroos have got their second. And it's now official on the scoreboard. Sigh of relief, I'd reckon, for Curtis after the miss of the season. That from a metre out, you wouldn't have wanted to have that touched. 2-2-14 the Kangaroos, 6-2-38 the Eagles. 9 gone in the second. Grandstand AFL, our experts, Shane Woden and Beau McDonald.
West Coast had another forward 50 stoppage.
Yep.
But just couldn't lock it in. Win clearance, Kangaroos get to mid-arc stoppage again, which they're now, plus 13. So they're dominating clearance at the moment, the Kangaroos. So they've just got to somehow equalise and create and keep another stoppage inside forward 50 and keep it there.
Demons lead by 3 points now, 25 gone in the third term. They've hit back to lead the Tigers. 13-5 plays 12-8.
So North get one back to end the run of goals for the Eagles. 6 straight they kicked. Curtis making amends after a bad miss. Back in the middle, North win it again. Tucker has it, sends it inside 50. Larkey got free, couldn't quite stretch and take the mark. Duggan clearing for the Eagles, kick out towards the wing. Simpkin able to knock it away from Cripps, keeps it in bounds. Stepped around Cripps, took a little bounce, now kicks it back inside the forward 50. Larkey going back, can't mark. Swooping on it, Hanson Jr. from the pocket. Couldn't produce something special on debut, minus score. 2-3-15 North Melbourne, 6-2-38 the Eagles, 10 minutes gone. Second quarter here, Perth Stadium, AFL round 20 action.
Shannon Hearn with the kicking duties goes on a bit of a trundle and then kicks towards right half back. He wanted Edwards, who waited. Young attacked the football, going to hand to it. It's over the boundary line for a throw-in. AFL released a statement on the incident last night between Alira and Lockie Jones. We'll bring you that at half-time. Ball put back into play again. Bailey Williams wins it down. She couldn't take it. Williams slapped it out. Edwards, 2 goes to ground. So too does she. That looked like a rugby pass more than anything else. Officials let it go. Thomas burst through, broke one tackle, then a second, gets a kick away inside forward 50. Goldstein spills off his hands. Larkey can't take it first time. Eagles surround the football. O'Neill gathers and then takes it over the boundary line for a throw-in. 55 out from the Kangaroos attacking goal up left half forward. The Eagles are 6-2-38. The Kangaroos 2-3-15. 11 gone in the second.
Ball brought back into play. Williams opposed to Sherry. Sherry tapped it down to Simpkin. Tumbling ball inside forward 50. Now North just have to retreat for a moment. Taylor kick into the pocket looking for Goldstein. Tunnelled out of it. Bazzo did well. The Eagles under pressure. Goldstein sold the handball. Gave it to Tucker. Snap towards goal. Couldn't be marked by Larkey. But coming through is Paul Curtis again. Swoops on another opportunistic goal. Kicks his second. 2 in a row for Curtis. He may have had a moment he wants back not long ago, but he's made up for it with 2 since. North Melbourne 3-3-21 now on the scoreboard. 6-2-38 the Eagles. The margin back to 17 points. Grandstand AFL, Perth Stadium. Our experts, Shane Woden and Beau McDonald.
Once again, it was a easy clearance from a stoppage, Wowie. What I'm noticing is North Melbourne are making the stoppage really big. They're pulling right out and almost isolating one player and going, right, we'll go one-on-one, and they're winning that contest. Yep. Eagles need to make that more congested. The North Melbourne, for want of a better term, it's like they're walking in with a bowler, but just one of them's taken the lane, and it's killing the Eagles at the present.
It's the Kangaroos' only score source at the moment. It's from stoppage. They're plus 16 at clearance, and the only way they're scoring right now.
That's a shocking bounce. It'll have to come back from umpire Jordan Fright. I'll throw it up in the centre.
West Coast need to bring it forward up. They've got to squeeze the stoppages a little bit more.
Throwing aloft. Sherry won it down and gathered it himself. Got a hand pass to Davies-Uniacke. Hand pass intercepted by Petruccelli. Got it to Kelly for the Eagles. Kicks inside forward, 50. O'Neill marks. 49 from goal. Slightly better than a 45-degree angle to the left.
It's where they can compete, West Coast, at stoppages, centre square bounce. Williams got a genuine good leap, hasn't he?
He has, and he jumped
his hands to it.
Yep.
Whereas around the ground, it's a little bit of a different story with Cherry and Goldstein as big boppers in there.
Xavier O'Neill with already one goal today. Starts his approach from 52 out. He's got right underneath this. There's a thumping kick. Sherry, one of the tallest players on the ground, right back there for North to punch it through for a rush behind. 6-3-39 the Eagles, 3-3-21 the Kangaroos, 14 gone in the second.
Kick comes outside, defensive 50, Goldstein takes a good mark. Chips inside to Davies-Uniacke, has the run of Sheasel. Gave it to Taylor, got it back, now under pressure. Kicks up towards half-forward, Hoff did very well. Socketed off the ground. Got it 40 metres forward. Marrick took the contact, gave the handball. She driven into the turf. As the Eagles were trying to just tumble it forward. It'll be a ball up side the centre square.
Almost a goal-saving tackle there, because if that got out, the Eagles were gone.
Ball back up. Goldstein again wins the tap down to Simpkin. Another clearance. Half forward Thomas paid the mark. Tried to play on, but the umpire says he'll have to come back around. As the North fans realise the ball hasn't gone and gone through the goals, it'll come back to Taran Thomas.
Yeah, and West Coast didn't reference it, a ball up there. Simpkin all by himself, just hit forward, quick kick, clearance.
Thomas playing some good football since working his way back into the side. Kicks towards the top of the square. Stevenson flew from behind. The umpire blows the whistle. It's going the way of North Melbourne. It was the non-officiating umpire that paid the free kick. And it's going to Sherry at the top of the goal square. It's going for a hold. So, Sherry, just one goal this season.
It's Witherden, wasn't it?
Witherden. What are you doing?
Comes in, pokes it through. North Melbourne get 3 in a row. So after a fast start to the Eagles, the Roos kick back. They bring the margin back to 12 points. They get their fourth. 4-3-27. The Eagles 6-3-39 as we see the replay of the free kick. Shane Woden, Beau McDonald.
Yeah, absolutely there. Bo's called it right. Witherden hanging on.
Jumper.
Oh, massive hold.
Yeah.
He didn't need it. I don't know why you're doing that.
He almost ripped his jumper. He stretched it that far.
Just get your hand under the armpit. Push him in.
Tristan Sherry joins the list of goal kickers for North Melbourne. Curtis with 2, Turner and Sherry now.
Just working their way back into the contest now, the Kangaroos.
Three-quarter time at the MCG. The Demons lead the Tigers by 4 as Goldstein takes clean possession as the umpire takes a spill. Goldstein had to knock it between his legs eventually. Kelly picks it up for the Eagles. Outer edge of the centre circles. Kicks high and long inside forward 50. Mackay front position on Allen takes the mark. Between fullback and centre halfback, he bobs up and looks for an option short. Nothing immediately presents. Still looking for one as he gets told to play on. He's forced to send it towards the outer wing. It's a good grab. Solid mark out there from Taylor. Running by Core. Receives the hand pass. Will send North into the right forward pocket. Goldstein coming from the side. Witherden did well. Won it down. Cole's hand pass was back into traffic. Turner got tackled strongly and taken to ground by Bazzo. It would be a ball up. 49 out from Kangaroos goal. Thrown up again. Goldstein tapped it down once more. Umpire spotted a over-the-shoulder decision. The holding decision going the way of Goldstein, and he'll have it about 52 from goal.
So, probably a touch too far out to score for Todd Goldstein. Decides to lay it up to the top of the square, low and hard. And had Tom Cole's name written all over it for the Eagles, able to take the mark. Deep in defence. Cole. Goes short to Bazzo, still inside defensive 50. Bazzo, looping handball to a running Duggan. Running across his own defensive goal. Now just has to stop, prop and kick it high and wide. Jack Williams worked out of it by McDonald. Couldn't take the mark. Now falls on top of the ball. Umpire coming in. The crowd wants ball, but they won't be successful. It'll be a ball up. 18 minutes played. Second term. Ball tossed back up. Goldstein just again dominating in the ruck. Tapped it the way of Curtis. His kick inside forward 50's a tumbler. Duggan does well. Reads the fly to the ball, takes a good low mark and plays on to Witherden running across his defensive goal.
Witherden, dangerous up the corridor. Needs a lucky bounce, doesn't get one. Strong tackle. Goda came one way, was met immediately. He couldn't let him go there, Cole. Wrapped him up and took him to ground. It's hurt too. Goda gets up, limping away from the contest. Problem with him, he'll try to get back into defence. And the restart, Davies-Uniacke tries to take it away against Gaff. Might have dropped the football. Umpire says play on. It was interesting. Came down to Curtis. Kicks towards full forward. Keeps bouncing. Oh, it's gone through. Well, luck's a fortune. He's got 3. There's plenty of controversy too about the play on call a moment ago when it looked like Davies-Uniacke had dropped the footy. But North Melbourne won't care because they've now kicked 4 unanswered goals. 6-3-39 the Eagles, 5-3-33 North Melbourne. 19 gone in the second. Jen is downstairs. What have you got for us, Jenny Wallace?
Yeah, just quickly, Josh Goda definitely limping off. Quite a struggle to get off on that little break now, and Jack Zeeble is starting to warm up, so he'll get assessed and we'll wait and see if Zeeble does come into the game.
That's the one, wasn't it? LDU first attempt.
Yep.
Does he get rid of it or not? But then the ability to follow up, free the hands, get it to Curtis on their second attempt, and then luck's a fortune with the bounce of the ball.
West Coast, as we say, won just their 4th opening term of the season in the first quarter, but have won just 2 second terms this year. So certainly has been a point of trouble for them all year, and so far North Melbourne dominating this quarter as Goldstein takes it out of the ruck, kicks it inside forward 50 again. Ball goes over the back. The umpire's spotted a free kick. He's pulling it all the way back. It looks like it'll go to Nick Larkey, and it does. A push in the back in the marking contest. And Nick Larkey will get the chance to kick North 5th in a row. Normally one of the most reliable kicks in the competition, Nick Larkey. Hasn't kicked one today. Got close to the man on the mark again, and once again pokes it to the right. A minor score, so Larkey lets the Eagles off. 5-4-34 North, 6-3-39 the Eagles. A 5-point margin, 21 minutes played, second quarter.
Just didn't seem to kick through it.
No, just poked at it, didn't he? Sure enough, fell off the shin.
Witherden on the run to the right back pocket, kicks beyond defensive 50. Umpire spotted a free kick. This will go the Eagles' way, hence the Bronx cheers around the ground. It's to Darling, who will take the free kick at right half back. Having another look at the collision between Goda and the tackle on Cole. Had his legs sort of caught under Cole as he went to ground.
Free kicks are even.
This is Darling towards right half forward. There's a big pack up. Goldstein brought it down out the back. Long. Hand pass to Cripps. Sends it inside forward 50. Jack Williams out and marks. Had the dive forward. That's a good grab. He'll have a shot at goal from, let's say, 35 metres out. Just better than a 45-degree angle to the right.
It's a great kick by Cripps, wasn't it? Trying to keep it low. Keep it out of Mackay's way. Great work by young Williams.
One of the Eagles youngsters, 19 years of age. Had to taste a victory in Eagles colours. Here he is, Jack Williams from 35 out. Starts out right, stays that way, misses. A minor score. Back to a goal of difference. 6-4-40 to 5-4-34. The Eagles lead the Kangaroos. 22 gone in the second. The Demons are up by 5 points. 3 minutes gone in the last at the MCG over the Tigers.
Sheasel's kick out of defence finds Thomas at left half back. So North Melbourne, 4 goals in a row, hunting for a fifth. Kick up the wing. Oh, Ford flew from behind, couldn't mark. Hearn got a handball to Hunt. Then to Jack Williams. Eagles retreating. Duggan stops and goes forward. Finds Hearn right in front of the interchange gates. Kick inboard to Sheed. North Melbourne flooding numbers back behind the ball. Sheed eventually plays on. Kicks towards half forward. Darling flew from behind. Punch came from Young. O'Neill gathered the bouncing ball. Kicks inside forward 50 Mackay. Able to track back and take the mark. Ben Mackay having a good season.
Big talk. What? Oh, goodness.
And as we say that, it's not quite the commentator's curse in front of goal, but we did curse him. The kick off the shin of Mackay. Almost missed his boot.
Yeah.
Dribbled out of bounds as we see the replay.
Oh, goodness.
And for a player who's probably kicked a football thousands of times in his life, that could be the worst.
That was quite amazing, unless you're a North Melbourne supporter. Davies Uniacke in the restart got the clearance and a kick towards right half back. It's off hands. Spills down to a Pat Marrick. Works it inside forward 50. The kick from Hewitt was smothered. Core went back after the smother and gathered it. Was strong to Sheasel. Hand pass was meant for Tucker. Instead, it's over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Here we go, Wowie. Usually these stoppages, the Eagles haven't been winning them and North have been walking them out. They really need to keep this in here.
Enormous cheer. There's a good reason. We'll find out about it downstairs because they're about to make the sub. Jenny Wallace.
Yeah, Elliot Yeo has taken the jersey off. We're just waiting for confirmation as to who's going to be subbed out, but he is ready to enter the field of play in mere moments. Looks like it's going to be Bazzo tactical.
Throwing in again. Front position, Sherry. Inside the left forward pocket for the Eagles. Comes out the back. This is Kelly. Went one way. Went left. Went right. Hand passes to Cole. His kick was smothered straight into the face of Turner. Chance here for Thomas to gather. And his hand pass into Hunt. Messy play at the moment. Marrick picks it up in the centre square and he's tackled the ground. Ball up again, the call. 6-4-40 the Eagles. 5-4-34 the Kangaroos. 25 gone in the second. Here on Grandstand AFL.
Bailey Williams taps it, tried to get it to Sheed. Socket off the ground. Scott for North. Back in defence. Gave it to Mackay. His kick to the wing. Hearn v. Larkey. Gets out the back. Cole couldn't stop it. Turner hacks it forward. Witherden came to meet it for the Eagles, but gave it straight back to North. Oh, the follow-up tackle was brilliant. Gave it straight to Thomas. Took him to ground and is rewarded for it, holding the ball.
Yeah, great work, Witherden. Great contest win, then follow up and nullify it.
The Eagles have certainly brought some intensity today. So now have the ball on the wing. Short to Edwards. The cheers ring around Perth Stadium as Elliot Yeo enters the game. Runs onto the field, takes his spot on the broadcast wing as the Eagles chip it up the far side to Jamie Cripps. 2 goals already today. Goes wide to Sheed. Now the kick towards half forward. Backing back was Mackay. Couldn't mark. Bailey Williams gathers. Snap around the body is high towards the top of the square. Big pack forms. Goes over the back. Hewitt gathers. Handballs inboard to Marrick. Cripps had the ball knocked away from him out of bounds. Throw in 30 metres around.
And he goes and plays back. Elliot Yeo. It's an interesting tactical sub for me. Yeah.
Taking out the tall.
Yeah.
Spun back. Sherry won it down for the Kangaroos against Darling. Bounced its way to Sheed, rather, and it's been tackled immediately. Ball up will be the call.
Not in the coach's box, obviously, but Bazzo can play forward as well and can catch it.
Yep.
Sherry wins it again. Davies Uniacke tries to just soccer it forward. So too does Cripps. It's not going anywhere at the moment. Plays high over the top of the football.
6-7 against us. Versus Guildford.
I was coaching that day, mate.
Remember that day?
Played him forward.
Oh.
Ruck battle. Sherry won it down. Out after it, trying to work it out, was Hewitt through the back. It comes towards Jack Williams, who gathers and shoots it goal. It's up in the air. He's missing the lot. Out of bounds on the full. Free kick to North Melbourne. Left half back. In fact, it's just gone through, snuck through for a minor score. So 6-5-41 the Eagles, 5-4-34 the Kangaroos, as North flirt with it dangerously across half back.
Taylor's kick was chopped off at North. Get out of danger. Ball goes out of bounds for a throw-in. Shane, what would you have seen this early into the game that would suggest taking Bazzo out would be the right tactical move?
Yeah, not sure unless they want, because Kangaroos probably play a little bit smaller at times, they're bound to go that way. But I just think sometimes West Coast have struggled for an extra tall up front.
So, Gaff's handball to Duggan. Duggan went without it on the wing. Stevenson kicks inside the forward 50. Hearn chops it off, takes the mark, moves it quickly, goes short to Gaff. Wanted it back on the handball. Didn't get it, but now does. Gaff goes wide, finds him Shannon Hearn, right half back.
Here I understand they've got the three talls forward now, which is a good look.
Yep.
But it's when one goes off and they're resting.
Hoff has the ball, goes further up the wing, finds Jamie Cripps, being busy. Disposal number 11. Kicks up towards half forward. Oh, Bailey Williams flew from behind. Unrealistic attempt. The umpire saw it. Free kick will go the way of Sherry. There was a push there as well. As we quickly go downstairs to Jen Wallace.
Just updating, Josh Goda has come back up from getting treatment down in the rooms with his left knee heavily strapped, but he is back on the bench.
Kick for the Kangaroos towards centre wing. Taylor gathers off the ground to Simpkin, to Ford. Forced to go back to McDonald. Quick hand pass to Scott. He runs into the centre square and takes a bounce towards the defensive edge of the centre circles. Kicks towards right half forward. 2-on-2 battle. Spills down towards Tucker. Thought he'd stepped off his line. The umpire will let him go back and take his kick. He'll pop it into the right forward pocket. Curtis! He was at the back in a line of four. Yo thought he got pushed in trying to affect the marking contest. Umpire thought differently. He'll be looking for his fourth goal here, Curtis. He should really have 5. And he'll put it onto the left with the set snap. He's got 4. And North Melbourne, they're back to within a point. They've kicked the last 5 goals in this game. The Eagles are 6-5-41, North 6-4-40. Half an hour gone in the second term. And repeating again, Paul Curtis with 4 goals
this quarter.
You need the replay here, Clint, first, just to see what the umps saw that we didn't. It's hard to see with his hands on that replay.
Yo's front position, Curtis's hands into his back.
Yeah, no, there's not much in that, was there?
No, there's enough there to say it's a mark. Yep. Good call from the umpires.
So 4 goals this quarter to Paul Curtis, 5 for North Melbourne. Ball back up in the middle. Goldstein tapped it down. Sheed, first hands on it. Couldn't get the clean disposal. Goldstein dives back in. Another ball up. A couple steps from the centre circle. Goldstein taps it down again. Petrocelli hit the pack with pace. Gave it to Hewitt. Dances around the opponent. Handballs out in front of Chesser. Had to go back and gather. Gave it back to Hewitt, his handball. Cut off by Young for North Melbourne. It's a messy ball outside Eagles 50. Go back to Duggan though. Kick inside the pocket. Allen from behind. Paid the mark by the umpire. A huge fly by Oscar Allen. And the umpires paid the mark in the forward pocket. So we see the replay. Over the top of McDonald. Mackay draped all over him but held on.
Just launches at it, doesn't he? Fantastic mark.
Tight angle for Oscar Allen. For goal number 2 today.
Mackay in his back pocket too.
Steps around, curls the ball, snaps towards goal. And the Eagles answer back and snap the run of North Majors here at Perth Stadium. 5 in a row to the Roos. Oscar Allen breaks the streak. He gets his second of the day. And he pushes the margin back out to 7 points with 23 seconds remaining in the second quarter. ABC Grandstand AFL, Mitch Turner, Clint Wheeldon with you. Our experts, Shane Woden, Bo McDonald.
Well, initially, Elijah Hewitt was out, shoulders out of contest. Probably should have kicked it inside 50 the first time, but the fact that the West Coast didn't give up on it, were good at the contest, be able to get the ball back in to their best forward, who's got a great set of mitts.
Yeah, I'm sure West Coast fans will be thinking, how good's this guy going to be once we start getting him more supply? He's had a fantastic year.
43 goals for the season, 43-14. As Goldstein wins the tap down.
It's a great effort by Allen and Larkey, isn't it, for two key forwards anchored at the bottom of the table with their respective teams to kick it over 40.
It's tackled, taken to ground. I'll throw it up again. Williams punches it forward, only as far as Tucker in the centre circles. Gets a kick back inside the attacking 50 for the Kangaroos. It bounces out to Curtis. Big don't argue on Hoff, but then his kick under pressure is out of bounds on the full. If you want to send us a text, 0437 774 774. We'll run through those at half-time, which is just moments away, with Yo to put the ball back into play. North Melbourne kicked 5 unanswered goals in that quarter, but the Eagles able to respond with a late major thanks to Oscar Allen. To see them have a 7-point advantage at half-time. What was a 19-point lead has been reduced to just 7. Paul Curtis has been remarkable, kicking 4 goals in that quarter alone. So a career-best haul for Curtis of 4 goals. He'd never kicked that before, and they all came in the second term. 7-5-47 to 6-4-40. The goal kickers for West Coast, 2 to Allen, 2 to Cripps, singles to Hunt, Petruccelli and O'Neill, while for North Melbourne, as I said before, Paul Curtis leading the way with 4. Should have 5 after missing one from right in front. The other goal kickers, Turner and Sherry. West Coast by 7 points as they hunt for a second win in 2023. Before we hear from our experts, the underscores earlier today, St Kilda by 29 points over Hawthorn, 19-8, 122 to 14-9, 93. And 15 minutes gone in the final term at the MCG. And it's been a close game all day. Melbourne by 6 points over Richmond, 16-8, 104 to 15-8, 98. So that game still very much up for grabs. Let's get the thoughts on what has been a tough tussle between 18th and 17th, West Coast and North Melbourne. A game that is still there to be won for both of the Eagles and the Kangaroos fans listening in. Shane Woden, Bo McDonald, what did you make of it?
Oh, great effort and great quarter by the Kangaroos in that quarter, Bo. Willed himself back into the contest and probably playing the better footy. Yep. Even though it's now a really even game. They didn't start that well. West Coast at home were really good early, and I don't ever say this often, but West Coast over the journey have been a very good clearance team, stoppage team, because of Nat Newey and what they've had in the past. Yep. And they haven't got that strength right now. But so this is probably a first where I think West Coast have to rely on the turnover game to be able to score today.
Yep.
Whereas right now, I'd like to see what the coaches are going to do after half-time to stop this stoppage onslaught the Kangaroos are delivering right now.
Yep. I think part of that was bringing Yo on, just watching. He's gone to the tall that Bazzo was playing on, so maybe they're thinking, okay, the third tall's not marking the ball, but we might be able to get a bit more run out of Yo and a bit more go out of that back line. But yeah, I agree with you, 32-13 in the clearances, getting absolutely towed up.
So 5 of the 6 goals that the Kangaroos have kicked have come from stoppage.
Yep.
They're dominating this factor. Goldstein's had 7 clearances and LDU's had 5.
Yep.
Simkin 4. So they're winning that. So structurally, probably now, he knows he's got to get the hands on it. So I'm looking at the ground level players of West Coast.
Yep.
How can they nullify, create secondary stoppages and try get it going their way with a little bit of supply? That's where I reckon they lost it in that term, West Coast. And Curtis up front looks very dangerous, doesn't he? He's kicked 4, should have kicked 5. So when they get in their front half, they look really good at ground level now, where they weren't early. So that term, 17 inside 50s to 13. Yep. So they start to get a bit supply. They start to get a bit of front half game going with Kangaroos. And they'll be happy now that they're back in the contest, but can they go on with it?
Yep. Look, I think Goldstein's whacking them in the headouts, and that's actually correlating. Sometimes it doesn't. I mean, sometimes you'll see a team and they'll understand their ruckman's not going to get their hand on the ball, so they're on their toes more, and they end up sharking and winning the clearances anyway because you're just alert. You know that your ruck's not going to win it and give you predictability sometimes, so you often get the ball. But what Goldstein is able to do out there is he's able to use his wrist and his hand to place the ball to the advantage of that. Like I said, they're isolating each other out there. They're getting the one-on-one, and he's just putting it to advantage, almost like a kick to advantage.
That's right.
And they're just able to work off from there.
Yeah, so they're, like you're right, they're minus 19 West Coast, but probably more importantly, like they're minus 17 effective clearances. So when they do get it out, they are scoring, or they are getting inside 50 into a score source. So there is a dominance in there. So whether or not West Coast now have to bring forwards up to the stoppage and really congest it, it's a playing game really with the coach's box, because then defenders drop off, you quick kick it out of stoppage, defenders mark, and they get you back on turnover. So it's a real cat and mouse game that they have to play. But right now, it's been great from West Coast. I've loved their intent. I've loved their energy in what they're delivering, their hunt at the footy, their tools bringing it to the ground. I just like to see them lock it in their front half for a bit longer and just try and keep it there, because their backs are under a bit of heat at the moment.
I spoke about Elijah Hewitt at the start of the game. He's had a pretty quiet half. Just thinking of ways we try and get him in the ground. He can be a good ground player, and maybe chuck him in the forward 50 to keep a bit of pressure and keep the ball in there. But yeah, this is a great game. I think the pleasing thing there is that last goal from Oscar Allen. The Roos had all the momentum, and the Eagles really needed to just stop it. And he's just been brilliant this year. I'm not really sure what to say about him. Just his ability to carry his team, and he'd be scary. And imagine if he was playing in a Collingwood or someone up forward at the moment, he'd be going real well. So with the limited supply he's got, he's just done a terrific job.
Question to both of you: did either of you see the Took Miller tackle on?
I did.
Zorko? I saw that. Did you think he might be in some trouble?
Of the accusation of what Zorko?
Well, yeah, the fact that it was a tackle to the hand on the nether region that did remain there for a good 5 seconds.
Okay, so that's what he was. About. I thought it was something around the head.
No, it was
a grab.
Let's refer it to a different sort of holding the ball decision.
Okay.
Accident or?
Well, I'm prepared to give an accident for the first impact.
Yep.
But the fact that you then go to ground and again continue to hold on to the point where Zorko's actually shouting in your ear, he knew what was happening. I refuse to believe Miller didn't know what he had hold of.
Well, it is a tactic of the past.
Oh, no, I know that. Hello to our Western Bulldogs.
Oh, you got it, one.
No, I'm well aware. I've sat in a box with a few former Bulldogs. They've told me these stories.
Yeah.
The dark arts of football.
To be honest, I didn't even look at that. I was looking more at the head region, and they had them. Both their jaws were really locked in.
Oh yeah, I think Zorko was a little unhappy about it. Anyway, I'm surprised.
What's come out of it?
Nothing hasn't even been. Well, no. The MROs put out their review from yesterday's games. Doesn't even say it's been looked at.
Okay.
Which I'm surprised by. I thought it was probably a fine because it was a really. There's no way this could be a good look, but it was a really bad look, and it did carry on for far longer than what I would consider was careless or accidental contact. Anyway, he's okay, Took Miller. So too, we hope, is Dane Zorko. He did get a $1,500 fine for wrestling with Lockie Neal, and so too did Lockie Neal, both of them copping fines from that game. There's other fines about the place, all for careless contact with an umpire. Cornelio and Liberatore from the Giants and Bulldogs game, and Jordan Dawson from the Adelaide Crows games, but they're all just fixed financial sanctions, so nothing to be concerned about along those lines. The AFL have just put out a statement about the Alir Jones incident, so I'll read that to you. The AFL's Acting Executive General Manager of Football, Laura Kane, and Chief Medical Officer, Dr Michael McDissy, have been in contact with the Port Adelaide Football Club following the incident involving Alir and Lockie Jones during last night's match. It was a heavy collision between the two. Alir and Jones had a heavy collision which resulted in both players undertaking head injury assessment, HIA. Jones was submitted from the game was substituted from the game after a SCAT 5 test. Aliir returned to the game after his initial HIA, which is not what we originally heard, but good to see that's been clarified. Over the coming days, the AFL will continue to have dialogue with the Port Adelaide Football Club and their club doctor to closely monitor the management of Aliir and Jones, and the AFL will provide a further update in due course. And from David Zeta of Fox Footy, to clarify, the HIA is effectively a consultation over the footage, so they have a look at the footage and see what happened. What we would consider to be a concussion test, the general community, is the SCAT 5, which is the mandatory 15 minutes off. Aliir underwent an HIA but did not undergo a concussion SCAT 5 test. And I'm not a doctor, but it didn't look like to me that Aliir knew what side of the country, let alone the planet, he was on after that collision last week. So, bad look with concussion. I hope that they, again, not to question the Port Adelaide doctor, but yeah, it was just a terrible look with that collision that he hasn't actually had to undergo the genuine, what we would consider the SCAT 5 concussion test.
Absolutely. I'm not questioning any doctor whatsoever, but that head is hit shoulder. Absolutely. You can only see when he lands too that he looks limp and whole body just goes.
The way players' arms move, you have a general idea about the state that they're in.
Yeah, poor bugger.
And then he had to go back out there and play on a rampaging Texan.
Didn't look good.
Dropping him when he's left from outside 50.
But did that say that Jones had the scat and the concussion?
So Jones had both.
So has he gone into protocol?
Well, they said that he didn't have concussion. So he had both, didn't have concussion, but then they've removed him because of a migraine. Which, again, just as a layperson, is like, what? How does that happen? Again, we'll leave that to the medicos, but it's been looked at. That's the situation at the moment. The AFL said they will continue, well above my pay grade, will continue to monitor the situation. Checking in again at the MCG, the Demons, well, they've started to take a little bit of a lead on Richmond now, out to 18 points, 18-8, 116 to Richmond's 15-8, 98. And repeating halftime here at Perth Stadium, the Eagles 7-5-47 to the Kangaroos 6-4-40. If you want to get in touch, have your say, we'd love to hear from you. 0437 774 774. We'll run through all your texts, your thoughts, your comments, your questions after we take the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. The Army has released the names of 4 soldiers missing after a military helicopter crashed off the North Queensland coast on Friday night. Larry Buttrose reports.
Army Chief Lieutenant General Simon Stewart has named them as Captain Daniel Lyon, Lieutenant Maxwell Nugent, Warrant Officer Class 2 Joseph Laycock and Corporal Alexander Knaggs, all 4 from Sydney's 6th Aviation Regiment. The helicopter ditched into the sea off Hamilton Island, sparking a huge search and rescue effort involving hundreds of Defence and Emergency Services personnel. Wreckage from it was pulled from the water off Lindeman Island yesterday. The Army has grounded its Taipan helicopter fleet while the cause of the crash is investigated.
The Social Services Minister is warning an increase to JobSeeker from September 20th will only take effect if the government's related bill is passed tomorrow. The $50 fortnightly increase has been criticised by the Greens and some social groups for being insufficient, while the government's banked a $19 billion surplus. Amanda Rishworth says the budget surplus was only for 1 year, while payment increases will be ongoing.
When you talk about the surplus from last year, it's a very different circumstance to the reforms that we've made, which are ongoing and structural. Now, we have calibrated these to be responsible, to help people that are doing it tough, but also that they're sustainable into the long term.
Nigeria's military leaders are warning against any armed intervention in the country following last week's coup. The warning comes as West African leaders are set to gather in Nigeria for an emergency summit to decide on further actions to pressure the army to restore constitutional order in Niger. The 8-member West African Economic Monetary Union could suspend Niger from its institutions, cut off the country from the regional central bank, and close borders. Niger is one of the poorest countries in the world. A Canadian firefighter has been killed while fighting a massive wildfire in the northeastern province of British Columbia. It's the second such fatality in the province this month and the fourth in Canada during this year's record fire season. Police say the 25-year-old from Ontario is working in a remote area when his heavy-duty vehicle rolled over a steep drop onto a gravel road. The man, who's not been identified, was transported by helicopter to the city of Fort St. John but died en route. Relief is on the way for millions of Americans in the southwest as soaring temperatures move into the northeast and mid-Atlantic. Chelsea Hetherington has the details.
A historic heatwave that has gripped the US southwest throughout July is beginning to ease. Forecasters say there's an increased chance of cooling monsoon thunderstorms over the coming days in the city of Phoenix, with high temperatures expected to fall under 43.3 degrees Celsius for the first time in a month. The change will also bring damaging winds and the chance of flash flooding. The extreme heat is now hitting the northeastern part of the US. Temperatures have been rising above 38 degrees in New York City, and officials are urging people to stay indoors.
A new domestic violence registry is set to be set up by the New South Wales Police to track repeat offenders and identify those most at risk of causing serious harm. Sarah Garathy with the details.
The registry is an Australian-first initiative bringing together investigators with legal and intelligence specialists, psychologists and experts in victim support to try to better protect those affected by domestic and family violence. It will monitor repeat offenders and determine which of them are most likely to cause serious harm, so strategies can be put in place to neutralise the threat they pose. The registry also aims to identify repeat victims quickly so they can be put in contact with support services and guided through the legal process. Information from local police stations throughout the state will be fed through the registry, which will be capable of responding 24 hours a day.
Victorians are being urged to go online and check if they have any unclaimed money, with the state's entitlement pool topping $109 million. Leanne Wong reports.
The State Revenue Office holds records of unclaimed money, including refunds, rents, share dividends and wages. They show one man living in Box Hill in Melbourne's east as having more than $880,000 waiting to be claimed, while a woman in Ardea in the city's west is sitting on $250,000. A lottery winner who won more than $2 million 7 years ago has also yet to claim their winnings. Victorians can check if they have unclaimed money by logging onto the State Revenue Office's website.
And history has been made at the Women's World Cup in Adelaide, with debutantes Morocco recording their first win. The first Arab nation to play at the tournament upset South Korea 1-0. You're up to date with the latest from ABC News.
You'll always find top drama on ABC iView.
Tell me what you got.
Always intriguing with The Messenger and Smother.
I don't know who to trust anymore.
People think I'm a psycho. Always dramatic with Vandervolk and In Our Blood.
She really doesn't like you. The world needs beautiful things right now.
And always different with In Limbo, Bay of Fires, and so much more.
I'm back for an encore.
A surprise holiday. You'll always find the best drama.
Happy.
Streaming for free on ABC iView. Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Chesser, long inside 50. Allen sets himself. Goldstein did well. Tapped it. Jack Williams taking a tackle. Allen fed it to Cripps. The goal number 2. A fast start for the Eagles again.
Petruccelli gives himself some room and snaps the goal. 6 straight for West Coast. Forward marks, plays on quickly, sends it long towards the goal square. Larkey front position, won it to ground. Coming through, Curtis. He's kicked the goal this time.
Sherry, just 1 goal this season. Comes in, pokes it through. North Melbourne get 3 in a row. So after a fast start to the Eagles, the Roos kick back.
Came down to Curtis, kicks towards full forward. Keeps bouncing. Oh, it's gone through. Well, luck's a fortune. He's got 3. He'll be looking for his 4th goal here, Curtis. He should really have 5. And he'll put it onto the left with the set snap. He's got 4. And North Melbourne, they're back to within a point.
Go back to Duggan, though. Kick inside the pocket. Allen from behind. Paid the mark by the umpire. A huge fly by Oscar Allen. Tight angle for Oscar Allen. Steps around, curls the ball, snaps towards goal. And the Eagles answer back and snap the run of North.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
And now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Closing in on full time at the MCG, and the Demons are drawing away from the Tigers 19-10, 124 to 15-8-80. So it's the sort of win that will help Melbourne really put some extra pressure on Brisbane after the Lions dropped their game to the Suns yesterday. Melbourne at the moment, their percentage will climb up to 123.8, so just a couple of percentage points, or actually less than 2 percentage points behind the Lions, and they'll be on the same number of wins. What does it mean for the bottom of the ladder, or the bottom half of the ladder for Richmond? They'll be in 11th spot, still 38 points. So the Tigers will be alongside Sydney and Geelong on 38 points, 9th, 10th and 11th respectively, just half a game outside of the 8, but the Tigers have the worst percentage of all of those teams. Let's have a look at some of the numbers. Mitch Turner's got all the stats in front of him from our game here that sees the Eagles lead by 7 points at half-time.
Just the individual disposal getters to get us started. Dom Sheed leading the way for the Eagles, 16 touches. Shannon Hearn, 13. Liam Duggan, 12. So too Jaden Hunt, Andrew Gaff and Tim Kelly. For North Melbourne, Luke Davies-Uniacke with 17 touches. Harry Sheasel and Jai Simpkin with 13. Darcy Tucker with 11 for the visiting side. The hit-out count as well going the way of the Roos at the moment, quite comfortably as well, 31-11. The clearances, though, 32-13. The way of North Melbourne. The total disposals, 208-160. The way of the Eagles, with the margin sitting at 7 points in favour of the home side as we get towards the second half.
Deb text in, listening from Darwin, guys, from an Eagles supporter. 33 degrees here today, hoping for an Eagles win. They're up by 7, Deb. Mitch Turner to get us started.
Second half underway. Bailey Williams gets the clearance out of the middle for the Eagles. Kicks it inside. Forward 50, but Young does well for North, going back, taking the mark. So a clearance and an inside 50 to the Eagles. North, though, win it back this time. Kick to the wing, looking for Taylor. Can't mark. Good spoil from Hunt from behind. So the inside 50 count, 31-24 the way of the Eagles. 7-point margin. The Eagles, 6 goals straight earlier on. North answering back with 5 of their own. Paul Curtis with 4 goals in the second quarter alone to bring the visiting side back into the contest. Ball tossed back in. Kelly caught in a tackle, threw it away. Umpire called play on. Now Davies-Uniacke, he's caught in a tackle. He throws it. The Eagles win the free kick. Hewitt takes the advantage. Gave it to Luke Edwards. Now Petruccelli. Handball inside 50. Missed the target. McDonald comes bursting through. Did he take the tackler on? No. Ball up the call. 50. Just inside the 50 for the Eagles. Opening minutes here. Third quarter. Ball back into play. Tap down to Kelly. Couldn't clear the congestion. Thomas dives in for the Roos. Can't break through either. Ball up. Still about 55 or 45 from home for the Eagles. Clearing tap out to space. Hewitt the first to get there. Gave the handball to Sheed. He fed the run of Jaden Hunt. Used his pace. Kicks it back towards Allen. Couldn't take the mark, but he was held. Gets the free kick. The Eagles forward. Ben Mackay charged with holding the jumper. Allen will go back from 25, 30 metres out, slide angle for goal number 3.
He's got him covered in the one-on-ones. Bo, at the moment, they get in there. He just sort of reacts a little bit, Mackay. Just to grab a jumper. Struggled with him early in the last quarter in that contest.
2 goals already, Oscar Allen. The Eagles looking for the opening goal of the second half. Allen's approach, kick on goal. Not his best effort this time. Away to the right, a minor score to open proceedings in the second half. The Eagles 7-6-48, Kangaroos 6-4-40. Mitch Turner and Clint Thomas in commentary for you.
Clint Thomas.
Oh, Clint Wield.
Doing very
Clint
well,
Thomas.
CT. Big shout out to you. One of the great men. Working hard at Minderoo these days as the kick comes from right half back towards the commentary wing, and it's marked there by Goldstein, who kicked straight into Williams. He didn't know much about it. Went, where did that football go? It spilled down to Hunt for the Eagles. On in turn now to Kelly. Working it towards Hewitt, towards left half forward. It's with Cripps, and now Kelly again. Centering ball inside, attacking 50, wanted Long. Front position, Young. Ducked one tackle, and then Long took him to ground. Ball still in disputes. Will ball it up. McDonald and Allen deciding they won't be able to work out who this should belong to. It'll come back to the umpire. Full time at the MCG. The Demons by 32. 20-10, 130 to 15-8, 98 over Richmond. From the restart, it came straight down to Cripps, who threw it on the boot, but kicks out of bounds on the full. Well, did it take a touch on the way through? No, touch on the way through. It'll be a throw-in instead, right next to the left hand behind post. The Eagles heading to the left of our broadcast position, the Farmer Freeway end of Perth Stadium this quarter. From the throw-in, Darling, front position, tapped it down, straight into traffic. Core gathered, tackled by Long one side and Allen the other. We'll have another ball up. Full forward for West Coast. Goldstein won it down. Sheed got it out. Hewitt broke one tackle, threw it on the boot, and misses. Kicking to the left-hand side. A minor score. 2 behinds to start proceedings for West Coast in this half. They're 7-7-49 to 6-4-40.
Ball turned over almost at half-back for the Roos. The Eagles put them under pressure. Petruccelli's in there trying to take possession. He has go to the company. Now Cole feeds a handball inside the 50. Chesser went without it, diving into North Melbourne players. Crowd again wants ball, but unable to get it. But a repeat entry again for the Eagles. Ball up 40 metres out from goal. Goldstein got rid of the opponent. Handball chopped off by Long though. Oh, Petruccelli slung to the ground. Umpire said holding the ball. It could have gone either way there, but Thomas gets the free kick, uses Sheasel, and now the run of Young. Scott has space over the back, takes the mark. North Melbourne moving the ball down the ground, kick inside the forward 50. Going up was Larkey, couldn't mark, punched away. Hearn overran it. Bailey Williams now gave it to Hoff. He's under pressure, taken to ground. A ball up 20 metres out from the North Melbourne goal. 9-point margin the way of the Eagles. 5 minutes played, third quarter.
Throw it up. One down by the Kangaroos. It bounces away from Davies-Uniacke. Edwards worked it away. And Hewitt works it beyond defensive 50. Young meets it strongly, tackled to ground. Darling wrapped him up. Did well not to give away a free kick going into his back. Beg your pardon, McDonald was the player underneath all of that. Thrown again up into the air. One down by Williams of the Eagles. Trying to work it out from there is Phillips. It's been held in once more. Doing the tackling is Cripps. Going to ball up right half forward for North Melbourne. Winning it down again. Clearing kick comes for West Coast. Only as far as Core. Did go to outmark Darling on centre wing. Dragged it in one-handed. Short pass to Davies-Uniacke on the logo. He'll move it short again. Precise to Young. Far enough to be a mark despite the protestations of the Eagles fans in the stand below us. Oh, Young sells some candy and got around from Marrick and then puts it into the right forward pocket, but only finds Cole, who takes the defensive mark at the back of the pack. 7-7-49 the Eagles, 6-4-40 the Kangaroos, 7 gone in the third.
Cole called to play on. Runs outside defensive 50, kicks to the wing. Darling going back. Can't take the mark, spoiled out of bounds. So throw in just in front of the interchange gates. Both sides, as we say, looking to snap a 16-game losing streak. 18th v 17th. The game well and truly alive as the ball's tossed back in. Cripps tried to knock it forward. Turner got it for North Melbourne. Phillips was worried out of it by Sheed. O'Neill picked it up, gave it to Cripps, able to shake a tackle, kick towards the 50, finds Allen. He's 55 from home. Eyes darting left and right. Then Dom Sheed comes across and says, go for home, Oscar. You're our main man, and that's what he'll do.
West Coast have stuck their high forward up into the contest now. On that occasion, Cripps went in behind it and got through, didn't he? Bit of chaos player as a forward. But also, too, the pressure from West Coast to come forward to defend, to tackle, to pressure up and force that turnover inside the contest.
Allen on the runway. Booming kick from outside 50. Doesn't have the legs. It does, but through for a minor score as bodies collide on the line. Minor score again for the Eagles. 7-8-50 lead North Melbourne 6-4-40. Third quarter, ABC Grandstand AFL.
So, Core waits for Marek to come towards him as he goes on a short run into the right back pocket and kicks beyond defensive 50. Hearn marks. Did well. He's got it at left half forward. Take 2 kicks from here for Shannon Hearn. Hearn kicks inside the forward 50. Big pack up. They fly from the side. Darling keeps it in. Hand pass on in turn to Gaff as we welcome our listeners joining us from Richmond and Melbourne. Ball's in play at left half forward for the West Coast Eagles against North Melbourne. Gaff has it right up against the boundary. Centering kick and a fine mark to Ben Mackay. The Eagles lead by 10 points. 9 gone in the third term. 7-8-50 to 6-4-40. North Melbourne kicked the first of the game, and the Eagles responded with 6 unanswered goals before North hit back with the next 5. Paul Curtis has been one of the stars, has a career-high 4 goals so far for North Melbourne. There's a 19-point lead to the Eagles at quarter time and a 7-point lead to them at the half as Marek has it just forward of the wing for West Coast. They'll kick inside forward 50. Big fly. Allen got fingertips to it. Young was at the back for North. It's locked inside. West Coast forward 50. A ball up will be the call. Clint Wilden with you alongside Mitch Turner, our experts, dual premiership player, Bo McDonald and Brownlow medalist in Shane Woden, as a free kick has been spotted for the Eagles inside their forward 50. It's against Goldstein. It'll come back to Darling, and Jack Darling, who is having, it must be said, a standout game. It's the Jack Darling of old, like when he was the Robin to Kennedy's Batman. He's been tremendous today for the West Coast Eagles. Looking for his first goal of the game, though.
They won a forward 50 stoppage through a free kick. It's good, though. Gives the backs a breather. Shot on goal.
Jack Darling, boots cross the 50. He'll kick from 40 out, steering it through for a major. The Eagles put their lead to 16 points. 8-8-56 to the Kangaroos to a 6-4-40. West Coast and North both looking to end a run of 16 straight defeats. And here at Perth Stadium, we've travelled 10 minutes into the third.
That's terrific. Great work by Witherden here in front of us on the boundary line, just to better win a 1v2. Get it to Marek. It wasn't a great kick by Marek going inside forward 50. But then force a stoppage. West Coast had numbers there too at ground level. Equalise, get in there, create it, then get to work. Jack Darling does the rest, finishes it off nicely.
Kelly and Hewitt going much better at inside the stoppage at the start of this quarter.
So Jack Darling gets some reward for effort in what's been a good day. Thomas bursting through in the middle. Sheed took him in a strong tackle. Not always easy to take down Taron Thomas. And a free kick. It's been given the way of the Eagles. Bailey Williams feeds it off to Petrocelli. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Marek and Archer did battle. Ball goes out the back. Marek tries to dive back in. North Melbourne on hands and knees. Noah Long sharks the handball. Creates something out of nothing. And the Eagles have 3 straight. And they open the margin back out again. Noah Long pounces on the ball. Kicks his first goal of the day, and the Eagles push the margin out to 22 points. 9-8-62. They lead North Melbourne 6-4-40. 12 minutes played here. Second quarter on ABC Grandstand Radio, News Radio, and streaming on the ABC Listen app.
I love that by the small forward to West Coast. Ball gets kicked over their head, and their intent to get to line of contest deep inside forward 50 and make sure that footy doesn't come out was fantastic. And you get rewarded through your hard work and your ability to push numbers in. Great work by Noah Long. Good finish.
Found something in Noah Long, taking a pick 58 in the 22 draft. The 18-year-old continues to impress from the restart. It's a telling touch. There's a holding decision going the way of North Melbourne. Come back into the middle of the ground. Chance here to reset for North, who needs something as Davies Uniacke takes the free and kicks it deep inside forward 50. Hearn at the back, couldn't mark, but tapped it out to Gaff. Hand pass back to Cole, broke the Thomas tackle. And from the left back pocket, kicks the Eagles beyond defensive 50 to left half back where Young marks.
Work by Archer. Got Marek out the way. Allow Young to mark this ball.
Young puts it back inside the attacking 50 for North. Big pack flies from the side. Jack Williams won it down for the Eagles. Gaff gathers hard up against the boundary. He's happy to be taken over the line by Thomas for a throw-in. 40 out from North's goal. North Melbourne heading to the city end of Perth Stadium in this quarter to the right of our broadcast position. The Eagles, though, lead on the scoreboard by 22 points. 13 gone in the third.
Ball tossed back in. Goldstein worked his way to the front. Fisted the ball up in the air. North Melbourne trying to work the ball forward. Jaden Hunt sees it out of bounds right on the 50-metre junction.
+7 clearance West Coast this quarter. Much better. Get it going their way.
So another chance from a stoppage here. Young Jack Williams opposed to Goldstein. Did well to work him under the ball. Goldstein followed up his work. Got the ball to Davies Uniacke. Broke the tackle of Cole. Now back to Goldstein. Kick inside. Forward 50 was looking for Ford. Couldn't mark. Sheed gets it out to Hunt for the Eagles. Clearing kick outside defensive 50. Or McDonald slid in. Couldn't take the mark. The Eagles were quick to pounce. Gaff kicks up towards Marek. Well done, Archer. Knocks it down. Oh, Hewitt coming through was met solidly. Toss the ball back to Sheasel. Kick up the wing. Young. Can't mark. Turnover. Darling's kick towards half forward. It's going to fall safely in the hands of Scott. And North Melbourne will be able to move the ball forward again.
Gee, you know if you're tackled by young Archer. North go bursting up the corridor through Scott from the centre circles. Kicks into the right forward pocket. Spots a Kangaroo who marks. And Ford should be able to go back and have... Curtis Taylor, third time lucky, should be able to go back and take a shot here.
It's in the blood, isn't it, Clint?
Gee, I'm so impressed. He just crunched that tackle a moment ago. Archer.
Fair pick up by Hewitt, though. Flying, one hand, clean. And didn't cough it up. He tried to get the footy forward through hands.
Two young players.
A great kick by Darling, though.
Really to enjoy the 20-year-old up against the 19-year-old Hewitt. So here's Taylor from right on 50. He puts it out to the right-hand side and has to sort of adjust the boot at the time. It's missed the lot. Doesn't go over the boundary line on the full, though. Witherden marks at left full back for West Coast and moves it short to Sheed, who has it in the left back pocket. The Eagles still by 22 as Sheed moves it short to Hunt. 16 gone in the third.
Hunt plays on across half back, takes a bounce, finds a man on the far side in Duggan. The Eagles want to move it quick. Duggan gave it to Hearn. Now Chesser. Just had to stop for a moment. Weigh it up, goes back to Hearn. The switch on again. Hearn's kick to Hoff. Has a man out in space in Jack Williams. Takes the mark on the wing. Wants to use the run of Gaff. Had to go back to Jack Williams. Now the kick into the pocket. Waits it perfectly for Noah Long. Takes a good mark going back in front of Simpkin. Noah Long has the chance to kick his second goal in a row here in the third term.
He resets really well as a forward, Noah Long. Gets up the ground, creates pressure as a high forward, then the ability to get back. Good one-on-one contest there. Good switch of play by West Coast. Chesser changed the angles on the other side of the ground.
Kick to goal from a snap just a few minutes ago. This one a set shot, hangs it out to the left. Minus score. The Eagles 9-9-63 lead North Melbourne by 23 points. 6-4-40. 17 minutes played here, third quarter, Perth Stadium. AFL round 20 action.
Jack Zeeble, the sub for North, still not activated. West Coast have activated their sub. Elliot Yowen in the second quarter for Rhett Bazzo, a tactical decision. Kick from North Melbourne back into play, goes towards right half back off the very solid boot from Sheasel. Spills to ground. It's been locked in. I'll ball it up. Leaping up is Jack Williams and got a touch on it, but bounces back over the boundary line from where it was a second ago. Another throw-in.
It was an early sub, wasn't it?
Very.
Like the Hawthorn one today. That was like midway through the second term as well. A small off for a tall.
We asked Jared Schofield beforehand, how long would you like to see Elliot Yeo? And he said, well, hopefully not at all. But then they threw him on in the second quarter. His head's straight back over the boundary line from the restart. They'll ball it in once more. We haven't moved in the last 15 seconds or so.
North Melbourne really opening up this stoppage again. They're pulling right back.
See here, Cripps, high forward coming in, gives them the spare out back, which is Mackay.
Well, spun back in once more from beneath our broadcast position. Goldstein palms it down straight back towards the boundary line, and the Eagles asking, well, is there anything deliberate in that whatsoever? No, I know there wasn't. But again, it's an interesting way to work your way forward if you're North Melbourne. They've gained about 15 metres in 3 boundary throw-ins. Here's Mitch Turner.
It's smart by Goldie because he's seen the runner coming through.
So we'll go again. Sherry this time taps it in front. Handballs over the top. Chopped off by Kelly. Gaff tight to the line. Gave it to O'Neill and got a push after he disposed of it. So the kick will come back to Andrew Gaff right in front of the interchange gates. Broadcast wing. Disposal number 18 for Andrew Gaff. Not a lot of movement up the field.
Crouch, what to do.
Eventually plays on, kicks up towards half forward. Jack Williams, good mark. 55 from home, kicks into the pocket. Oh, Mackay did well. Worked Allen off the ball but spilt the mark. Now Tim Kelly in, tries to break the tackle. Got an interesting looking handball to Hewitt. The umpire said no.
Throw.
Wasn't a handball at all. The crowd not happy. They're on their feet in that pocket. At the end of the day, North Melbourne will win the free kick, and Young kicks it to the wing. Goldstein can't mark. Curtis kicks up towards Turner. 1v1 with Witherden. Witherden wins out. Gets the ball out of bounds. So we see Jack Zeeble just stalking along the boundary line, waiting for his number to be called. 23-point margin the way of the Eagles. 20 minutes played in this third quarter.
Ball to be spun back in between the 2 interchange gates on the northern wing. Put back into play. Goldstein gets a double fist to it, back towards the boundary line, and not able to keep it in. Will Phillips was there, already crossed the line.
Vortex.
So they're trying to hit outside lanes now, Bo, with the North rucks. Knowing that their inside's taken care of with Cripps, let's try get it to the outside.
Sheed and Davies Uniacke both with 20 disposals apiece, leading the way today. Goldstein could only get a palm down to this. It spilled to Cripps, stolen away by Davies Uniacke. Williams wraps him up and almost rips his jumper off him. Illegal disposal. West Coast will win the free kick. Bailey Williams getting Davies Uniacke. That was a great tackle. Said, you're going nowhere. Here is the Eagles ruck, and he'll kick towards left half forward. Coming up to meet it, good mark. Darling was made to earn it as well. Nice. Solid contact from behind the attempted spoil. Darling hung onto the footy. Young made sure he knew about it. Darling will put it deep into the left forward pocket. One-on-one contest. No one could take a mark. It spills down to ground. Sheasel with a clearing kick. Will it stay in play? It won't. It's out of bounds on the full. The Eagles will have it at left half forward. Their lead remains 23 points. 21 gone in the third.
Tim Kelly with the kick, goes into the pocket. Long, Cripps in front, couldn't mark. Falls the way of the Roos, tackled strongly. Darling in there again. His hands in everything today. Ball up. Just inside the boundary, 30 metres out from the Eagles' goal. Goldstein taps it down. Oh, sharked by Hewitt. Showed a clean pair of heels. That's what he can do, Elijah Hewitt. He's an excitement machine, the young Eagle. He roved the ball, turned on the Jets and snapped it through. The Eagles have their 10th, 4 goals in a row. The margin out to 29 points. And there's a bit going on the broadcast wing in front of us between Bailey Williams and Kane Turner.
He's dynamic, isn't he, Bo? Be able to get through stoppage, drive his legs. Loves a goal too, the kid.
Yeah, but he's going to be a strong boy when he grows up too, I reckon.
He certainly will be. He was built like this at 16. Wasn't he?
He was for Swan Districts. Jenny Wallace downstairs.
North Melbourne have made their sub, so Jack Zeeble has come on, just waiting for confirmation as to who's been subbed off and if it's tactical or due to injury.
So Jack Zeeble, who announced his retirement at the end of this season this week, comes off the bench and onto the ground as North get a clearance. Hand pass came from Goldstein to Thomas, back to Goldstein, puts it into the left forward pocket. Big pack flies down towards Ford. Yo got him! Ball spilled free just as Ford was about to put boot to ball. Players pile on top of the football. They'll ball it up. Elliot Yeo. That is a goal-saving tackle from the left forward pocket. Umpire hurls it aloft. Williams at the back, won it down. Stevenson out after it, so too Ford. Ford was met coming the other way by Edwards. He picks it up and then takes it under pressure over the boundary for a throw-in. About 35 out from North's attacking goal. Heading to the right of our broadcast position, that's the city end of Perth Stadium. 23 gone in the third, the Eagles by 29 points.
Ball tossed back in. Larkey opposed to Bailey Williams. Larkey got the tap towards the boundary, but Kelly was able to gather for the Eagles. His kick wide, too wide, out of bounds on the full. So Call will take the free kick for North Melbourne. 2 kicks from home. Has to set it up to the hotspot. Kicks in that direction. Fly from the back. Yeo gathers for the Eagles. Gave it to Hewitt on his kick. Not a great one. Falls in the lap of Simpkin right on the 50. So Jai Simpkin fancies his chances here. He's a long way out.
55.
We'll have to kick it. Shane Woden says every bit of 60 metres if he wants to carry the journey. Decides just to set it up instead. Williams flies from the back of the Eagles, taps it beautifully down to Hunt. His clearing kick's going to be flirting with the boundary. It goes outside 50, sits on its end for Zeeble, takes possession. Allen had him. Able to get it to Davies-Uniacke, now to Archer. Runs into trouble, slammed into the turf by Marek. And the young Eagle lets him know about it. Holding the ball. Free kick Eagles. Didn't that get the crowd going as he gives it to Jaden Hunt.
Hunt runs into the centre square and then switches play towards the southern wing. Marked out there by Jack Williams. Plays on with a foot pass to Edwards. Hard up against the boundary. Down the line to Hoff. Marks right on the line. Has to stop himself on the fence. He's 80 from goal. Puts the Eagles back into the right forward pocket. Petruccelli was able to fly. Fist of the footy came from Mackay. Tracks its way towards the boundary line. Hewitt bounces off Hanson Jr. Allows Tucker to pick it up for North. Kicks up into the air towards the southern wing. Still the ball's allowed to bounce. Witherden at the back gathers. Gave it back further by hand to Hunt. Then to Hoff. Back to Yeo. Hard up against the boundary. 60 out. Into the right forward pocket. Archer got there. Couldn't mark. Dropped it. Kelly bounces it towards goal, but it wouldn't turn for him. Went across the face of goal and then went through for a minor score. Missing left. 30 points the margin. 10-10-70 the Eagles. 6-4-40 the Kangaroos. 26 gone in the third. Grandstand AFL. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner in commentary.
30-point margin the way of the Eagles. North Melbourne would want to get something started quickly as we tick deep into time on in the third quarter. Bailey Williams.
Been good.
Taking the mark opposed to Larkey. It's been a quiet day for the Kangaroos key forward. Williams kick into the pocket. Big pack forms. Falls the way of Noah Long. Taken to ground immediately. Ball up 40 metres out.
Oscar Allen just needed to touch that with his toe, didn't he? Little cross.
Ball back into play. Sherry tapped it down. Scott was coming through for North. Cripps able to gather. Gave it to Sheed. Had to be quick with the kick. Was. Falls the way of North though. Sheasel gives it to Davies-Uniacke and gets it back again. Kick up to the wing again. Williams flies. Takes the mark again. Plays on quickly. Gives it to Gaff. Kick inside the forward 50. Looking for Allen. Couldn't mark. Long again at ground level. The crowd want a high tackle. It's not forthcoming. It'll be another ball up. 35 metres out from the Eagles' goal. 2 minutes to play.
One coming out of there from the restart. Ball hitting the deck and players piling on top. Taking a while to get off the ground here. 2 Eagles and 1 Root. Young's underneath all of that. Long and Darling eventually get up off the deck. Jack Williams against Sherry. Williams won it down for the Eagles. Bounces away as Zeeble at the back of that pack. Kick is up in the air and it's marked in the left forward pocket. Tracking the flight of the football was Gaff. and he did well to grab it. He'll slide out with the 50s marked on Perth Stadium. This will be slightly tougher than a 45-degree angle to the left. He decides he won't take on the kick, and Tom Sheed was waiting for it and cutting in front of him. It's been pinched by a teammate in Hunt's. Sheed was there. I'll have this. Oh, hang on. What happened then? Absolutely sharked by Jaden Hunt. Didn't change how far out it was going to be, though, which is Hunt putting boots a ball from 50 from goal at a 45-degree angle to the left. Jaden Hunt has given that a lot, and it's pushed to the left. Minor score, 31 points the margin, 10-11-71, plays 6-4-40. The Eagles over the Kangaroos, 29 gone now in the third term.
So Core to bring the ball back into play, looking for Davies Uniacke. Kick goes over the back, out of bounds. Boundary throw in, down to Jen Wallace.
Josh Goda confirmed as the reason for the sub, that left knee injury that he had in that collision earlier in the game, so he's been taken out due to injury.
So Josh Goda out of the game. Ball tossed back into play. Sherry's tap went straight down to Kelly. The handball, though, missed gaff. Got it to Duggan. Tried the underground handball to Kelly. Couldn't gather on the half volley. Ball out of bounds. In a similar position here, right in front of the Eagles bench.
Zeebel's role is just to go down, and he was sitting in front of Oscar Allen.
Ball back into play. Williams tried to get the tap from behind. Sherry did well to rove it on the bounce. His handball, though, out of bounds. Again for another boundary throw-in. Almost 30 minutes played here. Third quarter, Perth Stadium. 18th v 17th. The Eagles under pressure all week and all season, looking to snap a historic 16-game losing streak as the ball gets punched forward again, rolls out of bounds.
It hasn't been working for Kangaroos this quarter at all, and they haven't changed it up. The ability just to hit it out of stoppage.
Yeah, the hit-out's good, but no one's running onto it, are they? Yeah.
No one's squeezing in, own the outside space.
So they're taking territory, North Melbourne, but they're doing it inch by inch as once again, ball comes back in. Ricocheted off Petruccelli's boot, went to Scott. Petruccelli wrapped him up in a tackle. Another ball up. Still 2 kicks from home for North Melbourne as they try and fight their way back into this game.
Ball thrown aloft. One down by Sherry. Taking it, Petruccelli, kicked into a pack, bounces up in the air. Sherry couldn't gather. Ooh, Kelly did really well, spun through, got a hand pass away to Cripps, who's on the burst, kicks to Allen in the left forward pocket. Mackay's done well, got a hand to it, won it down. Siebel gathers, his kick beyond defensive 50 will land as the siren sounds for three-quarter time. And West Coast can taste their first win since round 2. Their lead is 31 points with a quarter to play. West Coast 10-11-71. North Melbourne 6-4-40. The goal kickers for the Eagles, 2 to Cripps, 2 to Allen. Singles to Hunt, to Hewitt, Petruccelli, O'Neill, Darling and Long. While for North Melbourne, that term were held not just goalless, but indeed scoreless. 4 goals, all coming in the second term to Paul Curtis, and singles to Kane Turner and Tristan Xerri. It's the Eagles by 31 points at three-quarter time, wherever you're listening on ABC Radio, News Radio, and now streaming on the ABC Listen app. Look out for the AFL button and the AFL Extra button. This is Grandstand AFL.
Hello, I'm Patrick Stack, and if you like great stories and you enjoy sport, then I reckon you need ABC Sport Daily in your life.
This is a very competitive marketplace, the attention economy.
Well, he's got a perfect PGA Tour player name. Those are the ones we sort of joke about here. The American PGA Tour players sound like that.
That was the time to take the new ball.
Josh Franco, who's a part of our coverage, said if the grand final was tomorrow, I wouldn't bet against Port.
It's a daily sports conversation, and it's called ABC Sport Daily. Find us on the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Jack Darling, boots across the 50. He'll kick from 40 out, steering it through for a major. The Eagles put their lead to 16 points.
Marek and Archer did battle. Ball goes out the back. Marek tries to dive back in. North Melbourne on hands and knees. Noah Long, Sharks the handball, creates something out of nothing, and the Eagles have 3 straight. Goldstein taps it down. Oh, Sharks by Hewitt, showed a clean pair of heels. That's what he can do, Elijah Hewitt. He roved the ball, turned on the Jets and snapped it through. The Eagles have their 10th, 4 goals in a row.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Results earlier today. The first game of Sunday, St Kilda down Hawthorn by 29 points. And the middle game at the MCG, it was the Demons by 32 over the Tigers here at Perth Stadium. Overcast conditions still, cool day, about 17 degrees. That's, if Brett Delidio's listening, that's a cool day in Perth. West Coast lead the North Melbourne Football Club by 31 points, 10-11-71 to the Kangaroos 6-4-40. Neither of these teams have won for 16 rounds. Can West Coast hang on? Shane Woden, Bo McDonald, who's somewhere in the building. What have you made of it? It'll be you.
Yeah. Yeah, and you, Clint. Oh, terrific quarter by West Coast. Changed a couple of things up around stoppage where they were getting dominated in the first half. Brought a forward up. Got to work inside the contest there. Like, for me, the indicators for that quarter for West Coast, contested footy plus 19, not a strength of West Coast. Clearance plus 8, fantastic. Ground ball plus 13, have been horrific in that part of the game for a very long time. Plus 40 in disposal, but also had plus 4 in tackles. So across the board, their effort and their intent around that side of the game, then plus 11 inside 50. So they get field position and territory from their win around the ball and their method around the contest. And then they put 3 goals, 6-0 on the scoreboard to the Kangaroos. So fantastic quarter by West Coast. Been consistent all day with that effort. But, you know, can they sustain it for another 30 minutes of footy? And this is where Kangaroos have probably fallen off this year, is that they haven't been able to string 4 quarters together and been obliterated in that term.
For whatever it's worth, West Coast are, this will shock no one, the worst fourth quarter team in the competition. They've won just 3 final terms in 2023. What should give Eagles fans hope is that North Melbourne have only won 4, so they're almost as bad.
Yeah, well, Shannon Hearn's been terrific on Larkey. He hasn't had a sniff today, and they've had a bit of supply there. Luke Davies-Uniac's been terrific. But, you know, their kids, Noel Long's been outstanding. Elijah Hewitt had a big quarter, 9 quarter. Tim Kelly, you know, fantastic term, had 11 touches. You know, it's been outstanding around the ball for him. So, huge opportunity for West Coast to put the nail in the coffin.
As you pointed out, Bailey Williams with a massive quarter as well for the Eagles. Some of the stat getters as we head into the final term. Leading the way for the Eagles in the disposal count, Tim Kelly with 23, Gaffin Sheed 21, Jaden Hunt with 20 for North Melbourne, Davies-Uniac 23, Sheasel 21, Scott and Goldstein 15 apiece. As we head into the final quarter, the Eagles with a 31-point margin, looking for their first win since round 2 against the Giants, to ease some of that pressure on all at the club and bring some cheers and some smiles to the Eagles faithful.
Those clearances you spoke of, Shane, quite dramatic. Plus 9 for North in the opening term, plus 10 for North in the second term. West Coast plus 8 in the third quarter. They were able to turn it around. Jan from Uriah listening in wondered why Jack Siebel was the sub to begin. Fair question, but he has been almost the starting sub on a number of occasions this year for North Melbourne. Thank you for texting in and for your thoughts. 0437 774 774. If you'd like to get in touch and have your say, anything across the weekend, we'll run through it at the conclusion of this game. Final term about to start. 18th versus 17th. Both sides desperate for a win. Eagles with the advantage at the moment as Williams wins it down. Sheed was courageous. Tackled strongly by Davies-Uniac to ground. Ball up the call. First goal could be telling if either side get a chance to burst away. Goldstein won it down. Scott kicks quickly towards centre half forward. Fortunate bounce for West Coast. It comes the way of Kelly. He'll move it up the corridor. This is Cripps. He'll turn and kick inside forward 50. Wanted Darling. Core put a hand to it. Darling couldn't get there. Williams can. Jack Williams measures the kick back for Hewitts, who followed up and takes the mark. right in front of goal and will put boots a ball from 45 out.
Clever by Williams then. Didn't blaze away in the snap. Probably had a handball maybe. Yeah, that's very clever.
Could have gone short to Sheed if he'd wanted, but saw the option with Hewitt. I guess decided straight in front.
Great contest win by Hunt here at half-back. Mid's turned up.
Elijah Hewitt with one today. He was the round 3 rising star. The 19-year-old, the kick's on its way. It's out to the right. It misses to the right. Minus score. 10-12-72 West Coast. North of 6-4-40. Opening 80 seconds of the last.
Game number 10 for Elijah Hewitt. Career high disposals now, 19 today. To go with the 1-goal one as North Melbourne bring the ball out to the far side of the ground, and Shannon Hearn able to knock it over for a boundary throw-in. The Eagles youngsters stepping up today. Elijah Hewitt, Noah Long hitting the scoreboard. Ball tossed back in. Goldstein v Bailey Williams. Williams took it out of the ruck, handballed it in front of Hewitt, trying to tap it to his advantage, couldn't. Taylor stole it for North. Ends up with Thomas, now Scott. Streaming forward, kicks towards half forward. Kick wasn't great. Yo read it best. Takes the mark. Kicks it back towards the wing. Williams did well. Outpointed his opponent but dropped the mark. Then gave it to Chesser. Tried to burst through. Got the handball back to Bailey Williams. Now Duggan. And eventually out wide to Chesser. Kick inboard was good. Found Petrocelli. Kick and a half from home. Goes into the pocket. Looking for Allen at the back. Flies again. Can't mark. Coming through is Young. Gave it to Zeeble. Had to dance around an opponent. Goes short. Gets out of trouble. Finds Simpkin. He goes further afield. The kick to Ford. Not great. That's a gather on the half volley. Now the Eagles have stolen it back. Kelly gave it to Hunt. He's got some pace. Ran inside 50. Turns it over but got it back. Now Noah Long coming through, but it was incorrect disposal from the speedster in Hunt. It'll be a free kick the way of North Melbourne.
Trying to take on a little bit too much. As North switch play to Core, marking in the right back pocket. He'll find Stevenson in the long sleeves. Out of sight of the ground. It's open in front of him. He'll burst away. Takes a bounce on true centre wing. Then a second. Runs the right half forward. Takes a third. Will pop it inside forward. 50. Simple as you like to Larky. Some problems for Oscar Allen coming off the ground downstairs. We'll get an update with Jen Wallace in just a moment. But Nick Larky can have a shot at goal. He'll start on the boundary line in the right forward pocket. Stevenson had all opened up in front of him. And then it was just a matter of being able to pinpoint the target. Nick Larky without a goal today. Normally good against the West Coast Eagles. And he delivers with that. Outstanding finish. Had almost no daylight to aim at. Larky's got his first. West Coast at 10-12-72. The Kangaroos with what is their first goal since the 20-minute mark of the second term. They're 7-4-46. 4 gone in the last. Jenny Wallace is downstairs.
Oscar Allen, quite a bit of discomfort as he made his way off the ground. He's in the hands of the physios and the trainers right now, hidden from view, but looked to be potentially left knee or left lower leg at the moment, the way he was hobbling off.
It's been that marking contest or when he went to ground. It's a very good set shot, Nick Larky, isn't he?
Normally doesn't miss too many, Nick Larky. He's had a pretty inaccurate day today. It's only gone goalless once this year, back in round 4. So avoids going goalless again, finds himself on the score sheet. 26-point margin the way of the Eagles. North Melbourne win it out of the centre. Kick towards Stevenson was a low grubber. Sheasel knocked it to his advantage. Coming through was Chesser. Gave it to Cole. Taken in a strong tackle. Ball up just in front of the centre square. Advantage North Melbourne in this part of the ground. Bailey Williams taps it down to Sheed. Tried to get it to Kelly. Davies Uniacke taps it away. Diving in is Duggan. He'll have another ball up now, this time just inside the attacking 50 for the Kangaroos. Williams did well. Got the tap. It was sharked by Simpkin. kick towards the top of the square. Larkey had a couple of grabs at it. Couldn't take the mark. Sherry's handball's knocked away. The Eagles clear the chaos. Kick towards the middle of the ground. Zeeble, though, going back, takes the mark, goes forward and finds Simpkin.
Simpkin turns, puts it back into the right forward pocket for the Kangaroos. Bailey Williams marks. At full stretch. Caught the ball the highest possible point. He has it in the left back pocket. Sunshine breaking through again. The top deck at the Polly Farmer end of Perth Stadium again in bright sunshine. Most of the rest of the ground in shade as the ball's moved towards the outer wing. North will come up with it. They'll send it towards Stevenson, who can't quite mark. No, he has been paid it up against Cole. Good kick from Taylor, getting it originally from Young. And then Stevenson paid the mark. Will have to kick from a 45-degree angle to the right, and he'll have to travel about 53 metres with the kick for it to be a goal. Yeah, certainly had enough purchase on it on the replay.
Yeah, good lower eyes. Got to get Stevenson up the ground a bit in this last quarter. Use his speed. He's only had the 5 disposals today.
Usually pretty good. 24 goals for the season. Kick this time won't have enough carry. Goldstein tried to get a hand to it. Comes off it. And ricochets through for a minor score. 10-12-72 the Eagles. 7-5-47 the Kangaroos. 7 gone in the last.
So short kick in to Duggan. Has Sheed still inside defensive 50. Kicks it into the middle of the ground. Good kick to O'Neill. Had Cole running past. Releases him. Kicks towards half forward. Marrick has to take it on the bounce. Handball over the top. Found Cripps. Oh, slammed in a tackle. Holding the ball. North have it back. Kick up the wing towards Stevenson. Cole did well. Got the fist in. Then followed up his own work. Gave it to Duggan. The kick back inside the Eagles attacking 50. Zeeble had the ball. Marrick had him. The umpire says, I'll ball it up just inside the Eagles attacking 50.
Oof, Core's tackle. It was Core.
Well, he lined up Brad Hill last week and got him an absolute beauty. Aidan Core as the Eagles turn it over to North Melbourne, running outside half back again. The kick up to the wing. Larkey can't mark, falls to Curtis. It's been a little quiet since his 4-goal burst. His kick is a dangerous one into the middle of the ground. Sheasel was able to get it to Simpkin. Now Scott running inside forward 50, kicks it towards Sherry. Takes the mark, disposed of Yo. The crowd not happy, but he takes the mark and he'll go back for a set shot for goal number 2. 25, 30 metres out, slight angle. North need this.
Just got to make it a running game now, the Kangaroos.
2 in a row to North. A big kick. Sherry steers it through. And there's life in North Melbourne. That's 2 for the big man. The margin back to 19 points. 9 minutes played here, 4th quarter. ABC Grandstand AFL News Radio. Streaming on the ABC Listen app. Jen Wallace downstairs with an update for us.
Update on Oscar Allen. It looks like he might have been a corky quad issue because he's ended up with a lot of strapping and some padding being put on that upper leg now. Spent some time on the bike trying to stay warm. And Hewitt has also headed down the race with the doctor for the Eagles. So a couple of minor concerns potentially.
Not what they're wanting late in the game. A couple less rotations. 14 points of difference.
I think the momentum's with the Roos at the moment.
Oh, absolutely.
It is, and the Eagles fans realise it.
Got to dig deep here, West Coast. Got to find something.
And their fans raise their voice to try to get them to pick themselves up. Free kick in the middle. Eagles taken high was Williams around the shoulder in the ruck contest. Goldstein protests his innocence and gets told take a step or 2 back. As Bailey Williams rolls around from the middle of the park, will kick inside forward 50. Darling put his hands up, ricocheted off them. Taken by She. Good tackle, Simpkin. Bounced off Marrick's face out in the direction of Hunt. Tried to shovel a hand pass forward. Got it to Stevenson. Backed. Intercepted by Marrick. Desperate play at the moment. Long on in turn to Sheed. He kicks towards right full forward. Mackay meets it. Allen gets him. Tackles him to ground. That'll be holding the ball. the right call because Mackay decided to gather it and take on the tackle and didn't realise just what a good defender. A forward 50 position. Oscar Allen is. He wrapped him up. He can have a shot from the boundary at right full forward.
What was he thinking then? He's on his left foot, boundary side, just clear the area, D50, release the pressure. Decided to come back into play and handball it to Archer.
It was a brain fade. Allen puts it onto his left and puts it across the face. He's missed the lot. They'll take a deep sigh of relief there, the Kangaroos, as they'll get the ball in the right back pocket. No change to that score. 19 points the margin in favour of West Coast. Nervous times for the Eagles. There's still hope for North.
So North play on out of fullback. Long kick to the wing, goes over the back. Hanson Jr. v Duggan. Duggan wins the race. Happy to see the ball out of bounds for a throw in. Right on centre wing. Coming up on 12 minutes played. The margin at 19 points the way of West Coast. North Melbourne just mounting a small challenge here as the ball goes back into play. Petruccelli through traffic. Got it to Sheed. His handball wide to O'Neill. High kick towards half forward. Flyers come. Fist from the back from Darling. Knocked it down. Sheed overran the ball. Coming through was Phillips. Got it to Hanson Jr. Back to Phillips down the wing. Tumbling ball. Tapped away by the Eagles. Straight back to North though. Sheasel gave it to Hanson Jr. Got it back. Running inside forward 50. Gave it to Scott. Centres the ball back in. Gaff's got to go back. Got a hand on it but couldn't take it. Handball inside. Larkey. Snap around the body. And North have got 3 in a row. Larkey's got 2. And it is game on here in Perth. The margin back to 13 points. Nick Larkey starting to have an impact. 13 minutes played. Our experts here on Grandstand AFL. Brownlow medalist Shane Woden, dual premiership player Bo McDonald. 2
of those 3 goals, the Roos have been able to go from 150 all the way through the Eagles to the other end, and that's what had upset Simo the most. The Eagles were pretty good with their defence, about able to come forward and not let the Roos do that, but the last couple of goals they've just gone from end to end.
Probably Hanson Jr.'s big player in a couple of those passages. They're throwing Sheasel forward in this last quarter. He's been involved in a couple of passages of play also.
They've kicked the pass 3. The mockbuster has become magnificent. It's right up for grabs as Sherry wins it down for North Melbourne. Tackled by O'Neill. Wrapped up and taken to ground. Ball not coming out. Desperation stakes. Both sides haven't tasted a win for over 126 days. That's if you're West Coast, 127 if you're North. Can they provide their supporters with a rare ray of joy in an otherwise disappointing season, having not won since round 2. Ball thrown up out of side. Sherry with the telling tap, but it's sharked there by Petruccelli of the Eagles. Kick into the left forward pocket. It carries over the pack. Archer will get their first run straight into Marrick. Marrick wraps him up. Umpire circles and says it's held in. Good aggressive play. The battle between those 2 youngsters has been tremendous. Ball up in the left forward pocket. Comes down towards Darling. Got a hand pass forward. Looking to get onto it. Number of North players are there. Core shares it. They keep beyond their defensive 50 through Phillips, but only as far as Cole. And he marks it left half forward.
Experience there. Just kept eyes on the footy. Hanson Jr. turned his back on the play there. Read the cues really well, Cole.
Game number 8 for the season, Tom Cole. He points towards the goals, but he sets it up instead. Kicks there. Punch from the back came from Core, knocked it out of bounds. Throw in deep in the Eagles' forward pocket.
The other positional move that the Kangaroos have made also is Scott to half back, just to give him a bit of pop off the lines.
The Eagles fans have turned up in number, 38,231 in attendance to see their side hopefully snap a long losing streak. Darling tapped it down. Ball bobbling in the forward pocket. Edwards was clean for the Eagles. They got it to O'Neill. Snap around the body to the hot spot. Jack Williams couldn't mark it. Ground level gaff. Gave it to Darling. Sold to Candy. Taken in a tackle. Holding the ball. Core got his man. Wasn't going to bite on that. Big tackle, Aiden Core. As North win it back deep in defence, and Archer has it. Giving it back to a running Core. Kick outside defensive 50. Finds Simpkin.
Simpkin marks for the Kangaroos. They'll head down the line. Chance to build again here for North. Kick coming from Tucker to left half forward. Up was Ford. Couldn't mark. It's off hands. And then out of bounds on the full. That's unfortunate. It's gone the way of the Eagles. I thought it went the way of the Eagles. It's come off the shins of Duggan. It's Ford's ball. Kick towards full forward. Kangaroos fly from everywhere. Goldstein got a hand to it. Broke the tackle of Yo. Handed it off to Sheasel. Snapped over his head. Thomas flew at it. Couldn't get there. Hanson Jr. unable to pick it up. Thomas picked it up. He's tackled by Gaff. That's holding the ball.
Great effort, West Coast.
They're hanging on the Eagles, but only just at the moment. A free kick in the left back pocket. West Coast lead by 13. 17 minutes gone in the final term. Grandstand AFL thanks to ABC Sport.
Gaff has the ball deep in defence for the Eagles. Drives it up the line. Ball goes over the back. Oh, Noah Long did well. Did very well. Won the ball. Kicks it to space forward. It's a foot race on. Mackay gets there first for the Roos. Able to handball inboard to Scott. Now Phillips. Kick into the middle's dangerous. Sheasel had to make it good. Couldn't take it on the first attempt. Got it on the second. Gave it to Tucker. His handball not great. Straight to Gaff. The Eagles have it back. Hunt just hit the brakes. Got around his man and kicks it up to Hewitt. Hewitt's got a man all on his own in front of goal. Marrick's got to wait. Couldn't take the mark. North got there late. Affected the spoil. Archer seen out of bounds from Oscar Allen's tackle.
Great contest by Young.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, just had to get off his man.
So close. Ryan Marrick couldn't quite get the ball there quick enough as it's tossed back in.
Inside forward 50 for West Coast. Darling punched it down. It came to Kelly. Just got away from Davies-Uniacke. Bounces a kick towards full forward. Getting back there is Zeeble. Hands it off to Phillips. Meant to get a hand pass to Scott, who can't take it cleanly. And the ball dribbles over the boundary line. Still in the right forward pocket for West Coast.
And fatigue sets in. Good decision makers now at this time of the game. Really important and valuable for your team.
Jack Zeeble's one of those. He's in the area as it's thrown in. Both rucks missed it. Young at the back gathers. Umpire spots a free kick coming the way of the Kangaroos. It's to Goldstein, and he'll have it in the left back pocket. He'll move it short out to Young, who marks it left half back for the Kangaroos.
So Young weighing up his options. Has an option to go deep in defence, ignores it, goes up the line instead. Williams worked under it by Ford. Hunt comes crashing through. Tucker has him, won't let him go. Ball up just forward of centre wing for North Melbourne. 13 points, the margin. Goldstein's tap went straight to Edwards of the Eagles. Thomas has him, another ball up coming. Ticking up towards 20 minutes played, fourth quarter. Grandstand AFL, round 20. Which side will break first? Can North overcome the Eagles here? Thomas picked up, wrapped up in a Cripps tackle. Another one to Jamie Cripps. Ball back in play again. Williams. Bailey does the roving. Kicks it towards half forward. Allen didn't have eyes for the ball. Fronts on contact. Free kick to North, and Young has it in the middle of the ground.
Dangerous kick. North under pressure. Young's able to get it back with Davies-Uniacke, and he shares it with Davies-Uniacke again. The kick's towards the outer side. Taylor under pressure from Gaff, can't mark. Goes to ground, trying to shovel it forward. Duggan. Gaff looks to soccer it forward. Coming back for a free kick. Going the way of the Kangaroos. Taylor will have it taken high by Gaff.
Got to the other side of the ground, the Kangaroos.
The locals are unhappy. They've seen what was a 32-point lead evaporate down to just 13 as we're in time on. That was at the 2-minute mark of this term. The Kangaroos into attack from the right half forward position. The firing pass inside forward 50 is turned over. And Davies-Uniacke's inside 50 marked by Witherden in the left back pocket. Witherden looks to move it short again as the Eagles just try to get their hands on the football for a few moments here through Hearn. He'll kick beyond defensive 50 again. 10-12-72 West Coast, 9-5-59 the Kangaroos, 21 gone in the last. The ball's in the hands of Liam Duggan.
Still plenty of time for North Melbourne to win this game. Kick towards the wing, comes off hands to the back. Bailey Williams been brilliant all day. Handballed into the path of Hewitt. He got it to Kelly. Oh, taken in a great tackle. Dispossessed. North have it back. Streaming through the middle of the ground. The kick had to be good, it wasn't, but it fell back the way of North. Stevenson got it out wide to Turner. Spun on a dime. Got away from Hunt. Drills it into the pocket. Curtis from behind. Can't mark. Stevenson slammed into the turf. Yo got him. Play on the call. Centering ball back into the 50. And standing there all on his own, he could ruffle it off with a teammate. Luke Davies-Uniacke. The Eagles almost stopped.
Sheasel sore after that pass too.
Smashed in a tackle. Luke Davies-Uniacke to cut the margin to 7 points. Kick is straight through the middle. North Melbourne are charging here at Perth Stadium. 4 goals in a row. The margin 7 points. 22 and a half minutes played. Can they steal victory? Can they snatch it out of the Eagles' hands in front of their home crowd? Bo McDonald, Shane Woden, they're right in it.
Look at the kick from Sheasel. The quick look. No right to get that there. Oh. He's been big this last quarter.
Been a good move.
Sheasel's move forward, outstanding. It's been one of those moves that might prove the difference in this game.
Scott, the halfbacks, had 300 metres gain nearly at this last quarter.
It's all up for grabs. Sherry wins it down from the restart. Ball bounces away first time from Turner. Gathers it a second time to Davies-Uniacke, to Scott bursting through. Now with Tucker. Puts the Kangaroos inside forward 50. It's allowed to bounce. Curtis has it. Hands it off. Here's Sheasel! Sheer brilliance! That's outstanding. No, he's missed. I thought it was through. He wheeled away celebrating. It would have been outstanding.
Blue and white behind the goals were up and about.
They were up and about. The Kangaroos are up and about.
So was he.
Just a minor score. 10-6-66 to 10-12-72. 23 gone in the last.
The cheer squad was ready to jump on the field.
It's a good point, though. Big point.
The margin, one straight kick.
Dennis Committee would say the old 7-point play.
Yeah. Duggan kicks to the wing. Massive pack forms. Who can get their hands on it? The Eagles do through Gaff. He kicks up the wing, but Zeebel's there. Takes the mark. No one stands it. Drives the ball inside 50. Curtis in a one-on-one. Almost took the mark. Couldn't. Now at ground level. Taken in a tackle. Hunt had him. Sheaslin there again. Handballs outside forward 50. Ford has time to kick it. In the pocket. Going back Simpkin, but left his man, read it well. Took the defensive mark.
Poor kick.
25 minutes played, final term. The Eagles lead by 6 as Yo drives the ball up to the wing.
There's still time for North, though. Spoil comes down at left half back. For the Kangaroos, it's taken now by Tucker. Puts it inside forward 50. The ball floats its way through to Curtis. Paul Curtis has 4 goals. He kicked them all in the second term. If he kicks truly from 45 out, he'll start in line with the left-hand goalpost. He will draw the Kangaroos level for the first time since about the 13-minute mark of the opening term. Here he comes. It's not going to be enough of a distance from that. Massive fly on the behind line. It's through for a minor score. Less than a goal the difference. North at 10-7-67. They trail the Eagles 10-12-72. It's a thriller at Perth Stadium. It was supposed to be a schlockbuster, 18th versus 17th. It's been a beauty. 26 gone in the last.
It's a handy point, though. West Coast have possession deep in defence. Happy to chip it around and take seconds off the clock. Deep into time on. Hunt has the ball deep in defence. Has another man short. The Eagles continue to tick the time off. Witherden has the ball. It's Edwards. Goes short to Sheed. Seconds ticking down. North Melbourne need to man up. 5-point margin the way of the Eagles. Can't afford to turn it over. Kick up the line from Sheed's perfect to Hoff.
Another uncontested mark.
They've taken 40 seconds off the clock.
Just need one more here and it's done.
North Melbourne need to force a kick up the line. They do so now. Core with a big fist from behind. Punch it into the path of Curtis. Runs on. Stops. Props. Dangerous kick inside the middle of the ground. North had the numbers. Yo, brilliant. Won the ball. Stepped out of traffic and hit the target forward of the ball in Allen. That'll do it for the Eagles. A 16-game losing streak comes to an end. And Perth Stadium erupts. The Eagles are back on the winners list. And it may be temporary, but for now the pressure has been released. A sigh of relief. North Melbourne almost stole the game. But listen to the song, Eagles fans. Sing it loud.
Isolation, a fortress built. We crossed the nation. Our colours share the West Coast sky. Our will to win will never die. We're the Eagles, the West Coast Eagles. And we're here to show you why. We're the big birds, kings of the big game. We're the Eagles, we're flying high. We stick together through thick and thin. We grow as champions from within. Our club knows it's more than winning. It's West Coast magic and it's just beginning. We're the Eagles, the West Coast Eagles. And we're here to show you why. We're the big birds, kings of the big game. We're the Eagles, we're flying high. We're the Eagles, we're flying high.
For just the second time in 2023 and the first time since round 2, the Eagles fans get to sing along with their club song. It was almost snatched away from them right at the death, though. West Coast hanging on to win by 5 points, 10-12-72 to 10-7-67. A wait of 126 days for Eagles supporters to celebrate a victory. The goal kickers, Jamie Cripps with 2, Oscar Allen with 2, singles to Hunt, to Hewitt, to Petricelli, to O'Neill, to Darling and to Long. While for North Melbourne, Curtis with 4, 2 to Sherry, 2 to Larkey, singles to Davies Uniacke and to Turner. West Coast led by 19 points at quarter time, by 7 at half time. They pushed their lead out to 31 at the final change. They led by 32 the second minute mark of the fourth quarter, and then North stormed home. They kicked the last 4 goals of the game to give 38,000 or so fans in at Perth Stadium an almighty fright before the Eagles hung on to win. As I said, 10-12-72 to North's 10-7-67. What did you make of that? Shane Woden, Bo McDonald, here on Grandstand AFL.
Well, I reckon if it went for another 2 minutes, I reckon the Roos would have got him. The momentum changes in this match were extraordinary, weren't they?
All day.
Well,
Yeah, they were.
All day, yep.
And they had to throw the kitchen sink out at the Kangaroos at three-quarter time, didn't they?
They did, yep.
A few positional moves.
Yep, they changed up at the stoppages again.
Yeah, get the game going, get some runners off half-back. get Sheasel in the front half. Pretty similar to what Dacos does, really, when they want to, they need him in areas. They put Sheasel forward and threw caution to the wind and nearly stole it. So credit to the Kangaroos on that behalf, coming across here as a young team and nearly pinch it.
Yep.
But again, you've got to tip your hat to West Coast. That was fantastic. They were challenged at half-time. Again, threw the gauntlet back at the Kangaroos in the third quarter and said, righto, come with us. And I think with both teams, you can just see fatigue set in, particularly West Coast in that last quarter.
His tackles then start happening. And
1 point in the last quarter.
Yeah.
West Coast 4-3 to 1 behind.
I thought
they stopped.
And their backs held up pretty well. There was an onslaught. Well, the inside 50s in that last quarter. If I look at it here, no, it's pretty even, 13-10. But I thought their backs held up well. Some crucial contests in aerial and ground ball with Elliot Yeo in that last play. Just about to win it and just bash it forward with 20 seconds to go.
There was a play with not long to go on the Eagles half-forward line where it was Elijah Hewitt and Tim Kelly, and if one of them just was able to knock the ball forward 1 metre, they were out and it was a goal. And it almost would have killed the momentum of the whole match. Roos go down the other end, kick a goal, and you just go, wow. Tiny, a game of inches.
When it was scores level late in that contest, and I thought two sides that haven't won for 16 weeks almost don't know how to win to the point they would just share the points. But
that just gives great belief. And we spoke to Scully pre-game, the little wins and what it's all about, and you just keep grinding the wheel to get these little results. And for a young group, and some experience in there, we know, but a lot of young players in there for their first and second year, and they're just chipping away at it to hang on in the end.
It's a first win for Ryan Marrick. It's a first win for Jack Williams for the West Coast Eagles. Most of the other youngsters were there with the Eagles win back in round 2 over GWS. Doesn't that seem a long time ago?
Jeez, it was a big roar too when the siren went. They were there's only 38,000 people here, but it sounded like a lot more. And
combination of joy and relief, I reckon.
I didn't think they'd get nearly 40 today.
Yeah.
I really thought Sunday afternoon, Kangaroos, they might just stay away and watch on the couch.
It was raining on the way here.
Credit to their support.
Yeah, the last two games at Docklands between these two sides, 20,000 and 14,000. So it hasn't been drawing a crowd over East. We know North struggle to get the crowd sometimes, but you wouldn't have been surprised if there was less than 30,000 here today with the weather and the way they're going. But maybe they sniffed a win.
It is remarkable, West Coast. I know continually listening to the conversation from the other side of the country about where the Eagles are at. This sort of support that their fans have. Absolute undying faith in this football club. They love it. Considering what they've put them through this year. They keep turning up. 40,000 a fortnight ago, 38,000 in wet conditions today. Rain during the game, but certainly rained on the way here, and they've turned out, and those who did have been rewarded with a win. And with that, they'll be looking ahead to a fortnight's time. They've got Essendon at the Docklands next to the Eagles, but then Fremantle at Perth Stadium. That will be something to behold. The Eagles will throw the kitchen sink at that game. They're still bottom of the ladder. North Melbourne remain in 17th, but the Eagles have been able to improve their percentage past the 50, whatever that is worth. It's still
it about now, 17%, 16?
50.6% now.
Yeah, but what is the Kangaroos?
The Kangaroos, 67.6.
So 17%.
So
it's a lot to make up.
Yeah.
If they didn't win a game, the Eagles, it would have been the third worst winning percentage since the war by any side. Two sides have gone winless since then. It would have been the third worst, or third most, I guess, least winningest season, however you want to say it, since the war. So it would have been historically bad. It would have been the three worst seasons we've ever seen.
That's why you keep...
They're going to be cheered off the ground here, West Coast. Still probably 15,000 people in this stadium, and they've stayed and they've stood up and they've cheered them off the ground for what is just their second win of the year. Let's head down into the Eagles' rooms. It's been a long time since they've heard this, and we look forward to seeing Jack Williams, for example, and Ryan Marrick in the middle of the club song. Jenny Wallace is down there. Jenny?
Thanks, Clint. Yeah, you can just hear the appreciation from those allowed into the changing room as the players led in by Oscar Allen are coming in. Plenty of smiles in the crowd's face around me, and the kids getting involved. It's going to be a pretty well-sung song, I think, and the sports drinks being grabbed off the table to get ready for those that haven't had a chance to sing this yet. So bear with us as they gather into this circle. The energy in here is very good. Got players who weren't playing in today's game also gathering at the back of the rooms. Here they go. Huddling up nice and close.
I'm sure Jack Williams was delighted getting the sports drink in the face. It must sting a bit, I reckon, in the eyes. Doing his best to wipe that away as they dragged him back to sing the club song. They've dispensed with that little bit that they used to have at the front. So just the club song as it normally is, or was for a long period of time with the West Coast Eagles. We'll head back down into the rooms as soon as we can. And as always, we invite you to get involved in post-game 0437 774 774. 0437 774 774. Fran from Melbourne.